Billiken fans, welcome back. It's Zach Miller and Peter Hale. It's a Midtown Madness podcast. Before we get going, thank you all so much for listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Pete, I think we got to start this episode up with a major thank you to Two Men in a Garden, Pete. I couldn't have gone to North Carolina without them.
Yeah, I thought you were going to elaborate on why that's the case.
No, I wanted you to do it so that it sounded less braggy coming from me. I didn't want it to be like a humble brag where I humbly thank our unbelievable sponsor. By the way, I went to Cary, North Carolina, the college cup. Like I didn't want it to come off that way, and now it's coming off that way.
Not at all. I wanted to hear exactly how they did it, but yeah, Zach, my understanding is they were really helpful in making the Midtown Madness on-site Final Four College Cup, Cary, North Carolina.
Yes. The coverage that everybody wants.
That's right.
It's what the people were asking for. Two Men in a Garden brought it to you. And we want to thank them and just be a better partner to them. And that is why now, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see another QR code down below. That'll be below me. That will literally, you scan it and you're right to the Two Men in a Garden website. You're ready to buy that salsa and pickles. Please help us out. And Pete, the better news regarding our partnership with Two Men in a Garden.
Yeah, Zach, and this is what I was going to go over in our ad read today. But we've got a code. We have a code. It is not the Da Vinci code. It is the code for free shipping over at twomeninagarden.com. Type in MMP. You will get whatever quantities of salsa you need sent to your domicile. Completely. The shipping's free. That's right. You can get anything from mild to screaming hot salsa, hot mango to sugar free. They have pickles from classic dill to smoky barbecue. So no doubt you will find. You don't have to go to the store. It's so cold here in St. Louis. You don't have to do anything. It's a great deal. Go use promo code MMP. Visit them online, twomeninagarden.com to do it. Shop your favorite flavors. Learn more about Kitchen Hub STL. And don't forget to follow them on social media as well, at Two Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for the latest update. Pete, again, going back to supporting the podcast, we would not still be doing this if you didn't listen to us. And we thank you for hanging out with us every week. It stuns us every week. Every time those numbers jump, even 3 or 4 listeners, it stunned me the entire weekend. People like, hey, are you? I'm like, yeah, thank you for listening. That's crazy. Down below, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a Venmo QR code. Please support the podcast if you're able to. If not, of course, we have, we don't expect any donations. What a week, Pete. There's good. There's a little bad, not much. And there's some, what are we doing here? First of all, the good, we had a Billiken team play in the Final Four. It's a bit surreal. It hasn't sunk in all the way, Zach. It's starting to, but it hasn't all the way. Just the idea of having one of our beloved Billiken teams, one of our main sports, in an actual NCAA Final Four this weekend. It's what they're all shooting for. To see one of them reach that level is just incredible.
And we're going to lead off with that here on this show. So you don't have to really stay tuned, but it's coming up shortly. Let's look at the bad. A women's basketball player departs the team early, whether that's permanently or temporary. We have yet to find out any details about that. And then what are we doing here? Pete, the question the people want to know is Nike getting their jerseys from Temu?
That's a good question, Zach, because we are seeing some weird stuff out there on the court.
Do you want, we'll get into it, but I don't want to put this on the school. I don't think it in any way, shape, or form is on the athletic department, because it's happening. We're seeing it all across college basketball.
That's right. Yeah, we are. There's weird stuff out there, but what we're going to focus on is St. Louis University because that's what we focus on, and there's plenty of talk about with regard to these jerseys, Zach.
First of all, I want to talk about the men's soccer team, Pete. The Billikens, they suffered a 2-1 loss we'll say at, because I'll be damned if it wasn't an NC State home game, at 15 seed North Carolina State, Friday the 12th in the College Cup semifinals. It took place at WakeMed Park in Cary, North Carolina. And if you weren't there, there was no shortage of places to watch this, Pete.
Watch parties. There were at least 5 of them that I saw. Humphreys, obviously, Sport and Social down in Ballpark Village, Amsterdam Tavern, the Pat Connolly Tavern, and Sogility, which is a soccer training facility, also got into our mentions on Twitter to be like, hey, we're having a watch party here too.
Yeah, I posted that first one and people got real testy when they weren't included. I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not. I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's like it's the fact that there were all of these local venues, these bars, and other places that were having watch parties. Is just like the interest in this thing it was huge.
I thought my favorite part was the a corner kick in the first half would net you a free beer at Humphreys.
Oh wow!
I did not see that. Yeah. So that was cool. I was standing in the crowd and I was just telling somebody about that, and the ball goes out for a corner kick. I go, "Come on, free beer at Humphreys."
That's great.
No, it was a lot of fun. Pete, let's set the stage for the folks. The WakeMed facility is just 5 miles from NC State's campus. Basically 10 to 15 minutes, depending on which part of campus you're coming from, which is wild to me that the campus, if you're on one side of campus, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit bigger than SLU's campus. I think actually where their soccer stadium would be farther away from WakeMed than if you're on the other side of campus, but kind of ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, the point is, Zach, that it's very close. I mean, this is local. This was literally the closest team that could play in this event, closer than Duke or UNC, which are obviously not far away either. So yeah, this was something of a home game.
Pete, I got to ask you, what's your relationship with these championships that seem to be stuck in one location? Because I have some fondness for Oklahoma City and Omaha, for the softball and baseball. I don't love it, but at least I think those are centrally located and they offer, the nostalgia and that. But North Carolina, man, I think it's just lame keeping it in the same location when it's all the way on the other side of the country from a team that could be in it.
That's right. And a lot of times you wind up with West Coast teams in it, right? Like obviously Washington this time, but there have been other years where UCLA, Stanford, a lot of the best, Portland was very close to making it. A lot of the best men's and women's soccer programs are on the West Coast. I mean, USC, the team that knocked out SLU last year. So like there's it is a bit strange to me. Omaha, right in the middle of the country, Oklahoma City, a little bit south, but more or less in the middle of the country. Yeah, like you said, those sites also have history. Omaha has invested really heavily in a new stadium in recent years, actually. So, there's pretty good reason to have it at those places every year. To have it on one of the coasts, though, it really does favor, East Coast schools a little bit unfairly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just saying, St. Louis. I mean, KC has hosted the women's. Sure. They hosted the women's. I wouldn't mind KC. Give me KC.
You just named 2 markets that have really good MLS stadiums that are right in the middle of the country. So I would say, look, I get why they do it this way, but this is a 10, we'll get to attendance, but it's a little over 10,000, close to 11,000.
It's a Chaffetz soccer arena.
Yeah, it's bleachers, right? Like there's nothing special about it. Like when you go to the College World Series, you're like, wow, this is special.
They have faux seats, like they're bleachers, and then they have but By the way, though, it was there was ice. It was ice on the seats. The seats weren't wet. It was ice.
Which is wild because I just like don't think of North Carolina getting that cold, but I guess it does.
It was beautiful. Like it was genuinely like it was freaking cold.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful weather. Especially during the day, and that's when it actually snowed a little bit. It was snowing right when I pulled up to the hotel. We'll get to that. Nobody cares about that. Let's set the stage for the people. Continue on here. The North Carolina State Wolfpack. Walk us through their path to get here.
So they had to win fewer games than SLU because they were one of the 16 seeded teams. So they get to skip that first round. So in the second round, they faced Marshall, a fairly recent national champ with a really good program. A lot of international players on that team. Beat them 2-0 on Sunday, November 23rd. And then a week later, they beat UNC Greensboro. They got to play both of those games at home. And then in the quarterfinals, they faced number 7 overall seed Georgetown. So because Georgetown's the stronger seed, they played that up at Georgetown's facility in Washington, D.C., and they won 3-2. They went out to an early lead. I know you went back and watched this game, Zach. They went out to an early lead on some slop, but then they held on.
Yeah, I mean, they had two...
some luck, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, well, definitely some fortune. They had all 5 goals in this game, I think, were scored in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3-2 at halftime. Like NC State had 2 penalty kicks and kind of a fortunate bounce right to an open player, and he just kind of put it in. But yeah, they had a fairly benign path, but I don't know. They're just a very kind of meh path, nothing exciting. The Billikens, on the other hand, Pete, faced a lot of adversity. Pulled out some very exciting results here.
Double overtime, 2-1 win against Kentucky in the first round at Hermann Stadium. It was all road games from there. They faced this number 6 overall seed Indiana in Bloomington, got the 1-0 win in regulation there. Then they went up to Bryant in Smithfield, Rhode Island, another seeded team, the number, 11 overall seed. That was a 2-2 tie in regulation. And scoreless in double overtime. SLU won on PKs. And then they went to Akron, Zach, and pulled out the thrilling come-from-behind victory, 3-2 in the quarterfinals at Akron, the number 14 overall seed. So you had 3 seeded teams instead of 1, and it took
3 comeback wins.
A lot of comebacks, a lot of heroics. It was, it was edge of your seat stuff all the way.
So Wake Med, just to set the scene, is a lot like Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. It's on steroids though. It's got like 10,000 seats compared to, I think, Soccer Park's like 5. The traffic getting in for Washington and Furman, so the first game was crazy. It was like 15 minutes even to go like a mile, or yeah. But then so I went over there early just to get a lay of the land, like right before Washington and Furman started, and then headed back. But we'll get into that again later. So tickets tickets,
Zach. My question is, were tickets were separate for each game, right? Like you couldn't buy.
No, this was.
You had tickets to the whole thing.
The whole thing. So yeah, I mean, So it was 1 ticket for both games. So the NCAA face value for tickets, speaking of which, we're $49. Mm-hmm. Okay. On Wednesday, tickets were going for $175. And then a couple people I talked to in North Carolina, Billiken fans, Billiken followers, whatever, alumni, said at one point they saw $400.
400 is crazy because when they showed a graphic on the broadcast, like leading into the game, right as it was starting, they said tickets, they were seeing them for starting at 179 secondary. So I thought maybe, 179 and up, up a little bit from there, but 400 is insane.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. There were a ton of people there. It it was frustrating for our game because we had a lot of people leave after the wash. It was very much like we really could have used the Washington and Furman fans
to stick around.
Yes. God, we could have used them. And I was not impressed with the NC State fans, but I mean, we could have definitely used all the help from those two one of those two fan bases, if you know. So pregame, SLU hosted an alumni pregame event. I once again realized how difficult my dum-dum brain is, like time differences.
Yeah.
Like my dumb brain just cannot figure them out. I thought the game started at 7:30, not 8:30.
Yeah.
I was a very confused person. But the atmosphere, by the way, shout out to Abby Ferguson for putting on the pregame event. The food at the PBR room at Sport and Social was fantastic. I don't know. I kind of just want to go back for that chicken. It was like pulled chicken. It was delicious. The atmosphere. We mentioned in the outset that this game was about 5 miles from NC State's campus, and it was certainly obvious from my seat in section 103. To be honest, though, like I said, their fans didn't really impress me for the numbers they had. They were just terrible in general. They sucked.
I will say you could really tell early on in the game and at certain moments, like it was a lot louder, for NC State, like when they would do something like I wasn't noticing it as much as the game went on. Maybe that was part of like the tension and everything. Obviously big cheers when they scored and everything like that. But you could definitely tell early on in the broadcast, like, wow, okay, this is a home crowd.
Yeah. And what bothered me about their fans is not only were they just gross people, but that like they kept oohing and ahhing when when one of our guys would like slip. Like the move wasn't even impressive from their guy, and the only reason that like it looked bad was because the field was another ice rink. Yeah. And they're like, oh, and you're like, I mean, okay, it's 32 degrees out here. By the way, it was a warm 32 degrees. Honestly, I had like Under Armour or like Nike Hyper, like Pro Combat Hyper Warm stuff on like my legs and my upper body, and like I had jeans and I wore my Billiken jersey, the gold lettered 50th anniversary jersey, and like nice, really thick gloves and hat, and I was fine for the first half. And then at halftime, I put on like until we scored again. I had the my like all my other coats on, but it was not bad out there. It was certainly nice having the layers, but it wasn't like unbearable. And I'm not built for that weather at all. So like I'm no saint. Like I said, I thought NC State fans were horrible. Again, I'm no saint. I've admitted ad nauseum to being just unbearable in my like I've been there. I was there that night, like last night I was 2 nights ago I was in that mode. But like I mean the entire student section yelling "fuck you, Jeremy." Like I mean I've just never seen anything like that. Like that's I mean
that's just like that's pretty crazy. I can't think
it's not even like creative. It's not like give me some like I mean it just wasn't. I didn't find it very cool, but you know what I will say, through all the shit I said on Friday night, like the security didn't say anything to me. Like the ushers didn't say anything. So whatever I was giving back to them, like they were giving it they were giving it to the players. I was giving it back to them, and like it was fine. The ushers were fine. I said many of F words and worse. So like, yeah, it was fine. I just thought it was like coordinated "fuck you, Jeremy" chants are kind of
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah. Um, the one thing I really didn't like, and I'll complain about, is that I thought it was Bush League that they let the NC State student section. Which did I hear on the broadcast that they're called the Red Terrorists, or was it Terror Red? He's
I
the
did
way he
not hear
said.
red
He
terrorists.
said something like he called it something, and it sounded like he said terrorists. I go, did you just say terrorists? I said that is an insane. I don't know if it's the specific soccer student section.
Ooh, I don't
Name.
know. I'm looking it up. I'm going to see if I can find it, but go on.
I'm sorry I springed this on you or sprung. I don't know. Um, but so basically, NC State student section started to the right of Abonnel in the first half, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were up there with where their band is and everything, and cool, chill. I thought it was pretty. I didn't see a specific SLU student section, which I thought was kind of lame. That's lame for my money. Um, but yeah, they moved in the second half to right behind Jeremy Abonnel because everybody had cleared out that was on the ends because they were probably like, I think they were more, I don't know. I think they had a lot of like high school teams and like club teams there. Yeah. So I think a lot of them were sitting on the ends and probably just matriculated out as the night went on because they were too cold. So the ends got really empty. So second half, the entire section moves behind Jeremy, and I'm watching it. I go, this is lame. Like this is a Final Four. You gotta have assign seats and respect that.
Yeah, and it's just like that just is all makes it like such a true home game for them, right? Like it's not even the veneer of neutrality whatsoever. It's just like, yeah, do what you want. You guys, you're the big crowd here, so do what you want. By the way, they are the Red Terror, not Red Terrorists, luckily.
I mean, that is that. I go back, please. Somebody else go back and rewatch that and tell me he didn't say terrorists.
Maybe if he slipped, I missed it. But yeah, it is Red Terror.
Yeah. It's that's as lame as the Red Scare, but like at least the Red Scare has some like fun historical connotation to it. It's like a double, I kind of always, respected that part of it. The bottom line is that Power Five like students are the shittiest of fans. Yeah. I mean, on the SLU side of things, I thought Billiken, fans had an outstanding showing. They were energetic, excited. Our section was full. For when we could get a word in edgewise, we were like when the Billikens were on the attack, our section was chanting. Like when we seemed to be on the front foot and get a throw in deep, there would, chants, corner kicks. The field was icy. You saw it on the broadcast. Everyone else saw it. Nowhere near Akron.
No, not at all.
But speaking of which, Akron, the reason they went with that short corner in the Akron game was actually in part because Demo tweaked his groin when he slipped. Remember when he did kind of a work, not on that goal, that the one player who ran into the snow, but like Demo's over here, like, I don't know, you call it the elbow. And that's where he kind of slips and does like a twisty turny thing. And apparently that's, he tweaked his groin and that's why they went short. He wasn't confident in getting it across. So, hey, you know what? I thought that was an interesting little tidbit I picked up.
It is. And luckily it wasn't a worse injury than that.
Yeah, he was, again, phenomenal in this game, I thought. Jeremy Abonnel, what more can we say about him, Pete?
So he really, I mean, so he was named third team All-American in the lead up to this game, right? And I think he showed why he was an All-American in this game, but like you and I, he's a first teamer, man, especially when, the guy who was the second teamer was the guy at the other net. And then the first team All-American was Vermont's goalie, who we didn't really get to see much of in this tournament because they lost in the first round. I just have a hard time seeing like either of them as better than Abonnel, because he's been so good. NC State outshot SLU 20-5 in the game, 8-3 on goal. He had a couple stops in the first half, but his first really big save, Zach, came on a low driven shot in the second. He dove, fully extended, got a hand on it, and put it out for a corner.
Was this the volley?
Well, so this was the one where, he made back-to-back saves off of the corner kick. Yeah, well, so he made
that save right there, the first big save in the second half was the one that was a cross in, and the NC State player volleyed it.
Oh, but
it wasn't their big guy. It was the other forward.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was driven low, and he dove, extended, got it out. Amazing save. And then you had that corner kick right after that. 2 saves back to back.
You said the first one was amazing. Yeah, you said the first one was amazing. This one is double that. This is self-preservation. This is it's just unbelievable.
The amazing thing about this one is when I saw it in real time, because like Leatherman was on the back line and somebody else was back there. And I was like, oh, wow, what a goal line stand. And I assumed it just ricocheted off of whoever was in front of the net. And then you see the replay, and it was Abonnel on both. Like falling to the ground, reaching up. I mean,
those are my favorite saves.
Yeah, where your body's going the opposite direction than where you needed to be going.
Yes. And also the ones where you're scrambling back. I love a good, I mean, it's just there's nothing cooler than making a save that you have no business making.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And he grabbed, I mean, I just don't even know what to say about those. It's just incredible reaction time. But Zach, he wasn't done yet, because the one that people will remember the most, NC State had a PK after a Drake.
How will they remember it when he's had so many of the same ones? Like, it's not even special anymore, Pete.
Well, this one didn't come off a stutter step or anything. So
I don't know. He did. I don't know. It wasn't a stutter step, but he did. There was a little hezzy in there. It to me, it showed how much Abonnel can get into the heads of a kick taker. And I'm not even talking about the outward games he plays. I'm talking about just the sheer fact that is who is on the line. Yeah. There are all these instances of him making a save, and yet people continue to not just kick the piss out of the ball.
Right. They're overthinking.
Like, I said this to somebody behind me. I had a couple of NC Courage guys sitting next to me, and I was to be honest with you guys, I would rather a player absolutely hit a pill and have it sail over the net, because if you hit a ball as hard as you can on net, there's very little chance it's being stopped. Mm-hmm. Like, if you hit it slow, now you're giving a chance. Now you're adding in a chance for the goalkeeper to save it.
Right.
You can also miss it still. And you could also I just think I don't think there's any chance that a keeper can save a driven shot. Otherwise it's not a I would love to look at the numbers. I'm probably overstating it as some absolute, and it's probably not true. But I would much rather have a guy drill a PK.
Yeah. And in this one, I wouldn't say he did drill it, after the handball. This was about the 60-minute mark. Abonnel read it the whole way. SLU was able to clear it. It's just unbelievable, Zach. Just unbelievable.
Speaking of the guys from the North Carolina Courage, I finally got I got some street cred and with help from Abonnel, because I told them from the minute, I was the annoying guy sitting next to him. I'm sure I'll own that. Abonnel, watch this guy. He is unbelievable. Voodoo. I don't know what he does. He's incredible. And they're kind of like, oh yeah. We hear good things about him. We've seen highlight. I'm like, no, this dude just makes plays. And of course, I told him he was a magician, and they make me look like a damn genius. So,
Yeah.
or he made me look like a damn genius. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
We also had I had a few totally unrelated, but I had a few James Madison players sitting in the section cheering on Kareem Pari.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, so they were sitting behind me. And that was who Kareem was talking to in the photo that I think I posted on Twitter after the game.
Okay.
Pete, there was some injury news. Unfortunately for the Billikens.
Yeah, they said Draven Barnett was unavailable after sustaining an injury in training the day before. Again, we came out of that previous game with no injuries, and then to pick one up in training is unfortunate, Zach.
Yeah, Grady Easton had to go the full 90 in this one. One thing that stuck out to me here about the way NC State plays as we get into the actual game. Finally, after 30 minutes, the way NC State plays, they're either going to suck every bit of air out of the ball and just methodically not even work their way up the field, but wait for you to be in the wrong position or to catch your back line flat-footed, and they are going to attack you. And they're going to attack you quick and with pace, or they're just going to go route one to Ibrahim Condé or their star Donovan Phillip. And so, like, I think SLU did we'll talk about the pace of play or the style at which the Billikens played in the first half, because there was talk about it online, which is weird for us because we have not been in a situation where we've had to talk about online discourse about a soccer game. Yeah. It's a very strange place to be in, but NC State was incredibly physical. Donovan is every bit of 6'2", 190, and I think 190 is generous on the light side for this guy, Pete. I mean, I was 190 like in 2019, and I was not this big. That guy, like, I was not that big. Now, granted, I was wider than him. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I just don't. I think he was at least 210, 220. What did you think of the performance in the first half, Pete? Because I had conversations with alums at half, and I think a lot of the reason why the Billikens played the way they did was because of just really trying to get forward when they could, but also negate the opportunity for NC State to really find Donovan Phillip one-on-one with one of our defenders.
Yeah, I think what I would say is just that, like, on paper, it looks like we got absolutely dominated, and it didn't necessarily feel like that, right? Like it just didn't play out visually like SLU had no prayer here, and like we were getting absolutely outclassed. Like
if you had never watched the Billikens before, you would be like, they don't belong here.
You think so?
I think like if you weren't a soccer, like, necessarily following what like I thought it looked bad for somebody who wasn't like paying attention. So not to sound like high, like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but I mean, I'm talking about is like, as far as watching the Billikens and understanding what they're trying to do and what they've been successful with in the last 3 games.
So it didn't really strike me that way until the second half, right? Like the second half, the first 4 minutes or so were kind of even. SLU had a couple of possessions that they took to the other end, but then there was just like until about the first goal, there was like a 15-20 minute section where they were just relentless, and SLU was really that's the part of the game where I felt like we were outclassed. In the first half, it felt like more of a part of a strategy. Whereas in the second half, it just seemed like their size and athleticism and speed really caught up with us.
Yeah, I think, I talked to some alums at half and some of the staff after the game, and I think they were really happy with where they found themselves at, being 0-0 at halftime. And I think they kind of played exactly to what their intent was. And so, I mean, I think most fans who have been keyed in on this, and that's what I mean by like who are in the know, who are paying attention, the attitude they've played with, you have a great keeper. There's no need to be desperate to score. Obviously, you need to score to win, but against NC State, your strength and mental edge comes with pushing the game later and later as a 1-goal game or a tie game. Because the longer it goes on, the more you grow into games, the more you're comfortable. That's your time, is that last 30 minutes or so. I think SLU had to ride that fine line with both Condi and Phillip up top, that one can be released at any moment, and it's in the back of the net. And that line also involves putting NC State under pressure offensively, but also avoiding that counterattack. So, it's just a fine line SLU had to ride, and I thought they did really well, and I thought our defense did really well clearing lines in that first half.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that too. There was nothing in the first. I mean, yeah, going into halftime scoreless, would I have taken it overall? Yeah, I think so. But again, I felt like it was fine. It was okay. Like I wasn't worried necessarily after the first half. And being scoreless and keeping the score low, it's the nature of the sport. It's not just the nature of SLU's team, but soccer is a game where you can get outplayed. You can be the team that's on the back foot for 90 minutes, and you just have to be the one that scores, right? Like in a basketball game, maybe that's a game you lose 80-64 or something like that. But in a soccer game, that could be a 1-0 win in your favor. It's just it's a cruel sport like that, and sometimes you're on the winning end of it.
One thing I thought SLU didn't do enough to ask questions of North Carolina was their back line and goalkeeper when they were in possession of the ball. I thought it was NC State's biggest weakness. The way their keeper Herb and the back line played with the ball at their feet. I thought from very early on that if SLU was going to win it in 90 minutes, it was going to be in part to a miscue or miscommunication or slippage among the back line. I'm not going to say that their back line was going to make a mistake necessarily, but I mean, that field, I just thought at some point, if they kept playing with fire, they were going to get burned. And there was one such moment in the second half to start it. And I thought it was going to be, there were a couple of the times like this. NC State backline and keeper way too casual with it, and SLU just barely a step too slow picking up on that. But I mean, looking, into the second half, eventually, when we look in the second half, we'll see a couple times where SLU really did close down and cause a lot of chaos.
I think after that first one, the one you just mentioned, which came in that first 4 minutes, before NC State really pushed things the other direction. I think after that, SLU realized we got to put more pressure on them, because they did look a little bit shaky and at the same time way too cavalier back there. This is a team that has only conceded 7 goals all season coming into this game, right? And I think there's just kind of a level of confidence and arrogance there.
There was, yes, but it didn't look earned. Like, no, they didn't
agree completely.
They looked like shit.
Yeah,
they looked like they were just they thought that SLU was going to just sit in and wait for a tie at times.
And somebody at SLU picked up on that, because later in the half, you really saw us kind of pressing that a little bit more.
I don't necessarily take issue with the lack of attacking venom. I know a lot of people thought that SLU should have started attacking earlier. We saw it in our mentions, but I think if I had to find a strike against the game plan, it was, again, not making that back line play feet to feet. Not enough swagger when we did get on the ball. I thought when they went down 2-0, that the team relaxed and they had some of the floodgates of creativity kind of opened, and you just saw them feeling a little more comfortable. Just, they weren't questioning whether they were going forward. They were just going forward.
Right.
So, I would have liked to see sometimes, I thought about this in retrospect. I'd like to see this team just play as if the score's 1-0 the other way.
Yeah.
And see, just, hey, this is what this is the situation. Go do it, like, from kickoff. I would, they'd end up winning like 7-0.
Probably. Yeah. The way that they've played in this tournament up until this point.
I thought, SLU had almost two handfuls of opportunities in this one. I didn't go look at the stats, and I don't think I'm not going to rewatch it and count the number of times SLU closed down, but it felt like, nearly 10 times where they at least caused a miscue from an NC State defender with the ball. Conversely, I thought SLU played with poise in the back line, which we hadn't seen from the team leading up to this game. Like, it was a real issue throughout this tournament. And I thought in this one, Blair and Easton were very good.
Well, Easton was back was the big thing, right? It was kind of Blair and another guy leading up to that, and they went with some different looks back there. But those two together, I think, is the difference maker in front of Abonnel. I thought they were both really solid. So I think that was it, Zach.
I talked about that student section moving to the back behind Abonnel, and man, this is one of the things I said. I looked at the guys from NC Courage, and I said, that was a mistake. Them going and standing behind Abonnel was a mistake.
Yeah. He thrives off of that stuff.
I thrive on pressure. Was that Bill Murray and Space Jam? Since you were on the Space Jam kick,
I posted. I had one GIF dialed up. That was about it. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, for him, it's like, yeah, bring it on. He loves that kind of stuff. You could see, like, he's got a different swagger when people are coming right at him. He loves it.
Pete, what did you think about the officiating in this one? I thought a major talking point, at least in my head, in the voices that I hear, was that the number of fouls, and very hard fouls, that NC State was there were 10 in the first. There were 10 fouls committed by NC State in that first half. Not a single yellow card. There in the SLU section, there was a lot of this motion. Card. Like, there not a single yellow card.
So this ref was interesting because I thought for the most part he recognized the fouls, but the severity of fouls seemed to be something that was he played it a little safe there. And I think that benefited a team like NC State, which, as you said before, incredibly physical. I mean, that was part of their game plan, right? They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. You saw it all three on display, no question about it, watching them play SLU. So they pressed that to their advantage. Like, they were coming out physical from the gate. And then the fact that the fouls were 10-0 before SLU finally had one the other way, it was just the way the game was played. Like it was like watching a U14 go against a U12 team, and the 14s are going to push that physical advantage, just being the older kids. They're older, bigger, stronger. They're going to push that.
They had a lot of 6 years. They had a lot of get a jobs kind of guys.
There's just one of those things where, yeah, I mean, that was just the strategy. So I thought, like, that was just a conscious decision, the way that they were playing. As to did any of those first 10 rise to a yellow? I don't know.
No, the first yellow card. Well, yes, in my mind, they absolutely did.
You think they did?
However, the first yellow card of the game was given in the 69th minute to Jeremy Abonnel. I'm assuming it has something to do with him chasing down the official looking for a foul. But we'll get to that. Yeah. But we talked about the officiating in that first half. The second half, it got worse because there was about 25 minutes there where NC State could not do wrong.
Yeah, this is where they started to even it out. I think what were fouls on the game? Was it like 18-8? So I think it was even after that first half, Zach. Like they called it completely evenly. But again, I don't think that's quite how it was.
17-8.
17-8. Okay, there you go. So
Yeah.
so they actually called more on SLU than NC State in the
No,
second
they
half.
could. No, well, yes, yes.
Yeah, it was 8-7.
It's
Right.
and then there was like, go ahead. Sorry.
So what I'm saying is just like I think he felt more pressure to sort of even it out a little bit than to actually call the game as it was. Again, I don't think those 17-8 fouls, some quibbles here and there. I thought he was mostly fine. It was just like the things that weren't a yellow that could have been a yellow, or the thing that we'll get to in a little bit that was a yellow that could have been a red, right?
Yeah, but you look at that throw in that was given prior to the handball
Hmm.
that led to the NC State penalty. Drake Fournier was shoved off the ball.
Hmm.
And then, SLU came away unscathed. It was so frustrating, but look who gave up the handball.
Right.
It was Drake Fournier.
Right.
So he gets fouled, and then in recovering his position, he handball again. Also, I never want to hear the phrase unnatural position ever again. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What is natural and unnatural when you're playing at a level that less than 1% of the country can play at? Like,
It's crazy too, because it just assumes, like, I don't know, your arm, like the guy's moving to
every
his side
position
really
here is a
quickly.
natural. Anything between, like,
Yeah.
the only unnatural position is if I had it behind my back.
Right.
Like,
Or
if it
if
was,
he
my arm was broken, if I had a dislocated arm, that would be an unnatural position.
or if he's like Inspector Gadget stretching his arm out like 18
That
feet to stop a shot or something like
would
that.
be
That's not
unnatural.
natural.
That
Right.
is
Anything he does with his body is going to be natural, though. So it is a bit weird. It would be unnatural if he had like a tool of some kind, like a fishing net.
he threw his shoe at it,
Right. Yeah, that's not natural.
which
So
is
so
I've seen that done.
I agree with you. That is dumb. But unfortunately, Zach, this is the point in the game, 69th minute, where they do break through.
Yes, it was. It was not nice when NC State broke through in the 69th minute. They played a high lob across the box. Donovan Phillip, now tied for first in the nation in scoring, headed it back to the far post for a 1-0 lead. Pete, you could see this in person. I don't know if you could see it on TV, but you saw it coming. Phillip was just manhandling JC Cortez on the near the back post, just completely imposing physically. And this one was destined for the back of the net.
It really was, Zach, and he just, like, Philip is an interesting player because, for one, they don't play him like they're kind of strategic about how they play him, right? Like he's not a guy they let just run for 90 minutes. Like, there were chunks of this game where they held him out to kind of conserve his energy, and then they unleash him. And he's
Their two-headed monster reminds me of the teams with Cristo and Adnan.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think the last goal scorer like that I mean, Dipsy Selawane, when I was there, I think he scored 22 goals when I was a freshman or something like
Jesus.
that. He was a really prolific scorer, and that was just a really good team. I mean, when Brad Davis is setting you up, that helps too. But anyway, yeah. So Zach, but here's the crazy part. So you talk about their two-headed monster because you see Condi out there, and he's big and strong and dangerous, and fast. But would you believe if I told you he has not scored this season?
Hey, what?
Condi on NC State has not scored this season.
That's because Philip was taking all the goals.
Well, but I mean, but watching Philip, like you say, push Cortez and then square up for that thing, you see the difference between a guy who's like a forward and who has all the tools, and Slew has a lot of those, and a
Yes.
guy who's just a killer when it comes to goal scoring, right? Like a guy who just understands how to do anything it takes to get that ball in the net. And Philip just kind of has that. He has that
Yeah.
quality about him. There's like another level, and that's kind of, we said it all season. That's kind of one of those things that Slew's been lacking, is we don't have that guy who can just, you can give him the ball and he's going to make that play. He's going to finish. We don't have that killer finisher. We've got a lot of really skilled, good players, but he is just that absolute killer finisher, and that's what's different to me about that. Three Billikens were near the post where the ball entered the net. None of them could get a touch on it. This is the one, Zach, where Abonnel was given a yellow card. I put for some unknown reason, but I guess he did kind of follow the refs there a little bit.
Yeah, he ran all the way out of his box, yelled at the referee, and there wasn't a foul on the actual play, but I think they wanted the ref to look at a physical clash behind that, and maybe get a red card out of it, somehow. Which again, whatever you have to do to gain an advantage within the rules. And I'm sick and tired of VAR, like refs not even making a call, just going to VAR because they're not sure.
Just blowing the whistle to stop play and running over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, I mean, how did you feel after that first goal went in?
That came at the end of a prolonged onslaught by NC State, right? Like this was like minute 20 of them just kind of taking it at us. And so I was feeling pretty bad at this point. And when that went in, I thought that's probably it. It just felt like if they were going to get on the board in regulation, we were in trouble. Like my hope here was to steal a crazy goal and get out to a 1-0 lead and kind of take them out of their game, or to take the thing into overtime and just keep playing this, like doing anything we can to bend, not break, and keep this scoreless, and then make it a shootout. So those are the kind of ways that I was kind of looking at this. So when that first one went in, Zach, I was feeling pretty down, but I don't know if the mood in the facility was any different for you guys.
I think most of the people that were there as Billiken fans were the kind of people that knew but they knew that NC State was going to be a tough nut to crack, but they also had seen this team respond. And to me, I think there was still confidence. Let's go get a goal back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the opposite occurred. And in the 72nd minute, it was Riley Maloney, which is a terrible name.
Riley Maloney. Yeah, I don't like that either.
I like Malone.
Yeah.
I need Malone or nothing.
Right. Or like the first name can't end in the same sound. Yeah, that's right. I get what you're saying. So he made an undeniable run here, Zach. It was really impressive. He smoked Leatherman to kind of put the ball over him a little bit, and served it up to, speaking of dumb names, Tag Healy. TAIG is apparently a thing you can name your kid.
Well, how I tag you in the face.
Tag Healy, the 5'7" Tag Healy, maybe the only guy about Carlos Leatherman's size out there, for the finish. That was I don't know. Maybe one Leatherman would like to have back, Zach.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think his mistake wasn't necessarily his play on the where he flicked it over Leatherman's head, where he had it flicked over his head. It was, he made the wrong angle on the play before, like just before that, the ball moved and he took a bad angle. And I thought he put himself in a bad position and kind of behind on his, like, you look at basketball behind on rotation. It was kind of that same vibe. But I thought he was behind and it really put him kind of off balance to make a play on Riley.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't think they were going to come back. You expressed to me that you felt as though it was insurmountable at that point.
Yeah, when it was 2-0, I was just that's when I went from like, wow, it's long odds to okay, this is over. It's just over. That's how I felt at this point.
Yeah, I felt it was over. Um, but I felt a little like more calm about it, like in that I didn't think it was going to balloon further than that. It wasn't going to be a
Agreed.
situation where we're just going to get run off the field.
That's right.
I thought if we could get a goal early, quickly, I thought there was certainly an opportunity. Like this team had it in them um, to push NC State to the final whistle. Um, Turned out they did. I just thought they'd have a better opportunity, and I thought it would have been earlier than they had.
Yes.
So I was disappointed in that. I don't know. It felt as though it was liberating for the Billikens too on the field. Like I said that they should just play like they're down 1-0 all the time. Like it felt like when they went down 2-0, they were like, okay, we get to like let's just play soccer. Let's attack, attack, attack.
Well, I think so because the attacking had all been the other way. NC State was relentless before that attacking, using their, again, speed, size, strength to come right at SLU the whole time. So there is that like, okay, well, I mean, you're right. Like now they're probably just going to park the bus for the last 20 minutes here, and we're going to have our chance, and hopefully create something out of that. It took a while, Zach, but in that right around the 80-minute mark, Leatherman sent in a great ball for Tanner Anderson, who was just flat out rugby tackled by the NC State defender.
Yeah, and who else would step up to take the PK but Quentin Blair? What more can you say about this kid? Ice water in his veins, no fluff, um, just pure power.
He just strikes a great ball every time. Like it's just a no doubter every time. Converted it to cut the lead in half. By the way, Zach, what's so funny about how decisive he is as a penalty kick taker, he had never scored before this season because he played 3 seasons at Loyola and transferred to SLU, right, for this final season. And he ends up being SLU's leading scorer this year with 6 goals, 5 of which came on PKs. After not scoring in his entire career. And thanks to Stu Durando, by the way, for pointing that out. I thought that was a really fun stat. What a productive transfer for him.
I think it's just proof that the guy, like, this is what happens if you just step up and do your thing on a PK and don't worry about the mind games. Don't worry about picking a side.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about like, throwing the goalie off, pick your side and you hit it high and on either side, and it's gonna if it's on frame, it's going in. Not a goalie in the world has there all of his PKs he has not missed. Correct, this season.
Correct.
Every one of them. Not. I'm saying like even if the goalkeeper guessed correctly, not one of them was gonna get saved.
Correct.
You and I may disagree here, Pete.
Okay.
Not necessarily a hard disagree. I'm as often goes, I leave room for interpretation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But talk to me about this foul. You called it flat out rugby tackled, and it's funny that you said it like that. You wrote it in the notes like that. Because when I tweeted out the video, the clip of it, where he's super shocked, which was the funniest reaction I ever saw. I'd never seen a more punchable face in my life than that. I said, "Oh, did I rugby tackle that guy?" And you're calling a foul on me for that. So I just thought it was funny that we both saw it as a rugby tackle. But you thought it probably rose to the level of a red card.
I did, and I honestly think that's what his reaction was. Because how many times have we seen like in soccer, like what was it was a handball in the box, right? At Akron, where all the players on Akron immediately started wagging their finger, right? But it was obviously a handball in the box. But in this one, he got up and just started complaining right away. And I thought, oh, he knows he just committed a red card. Like he knows he could just get a straight red for that. And so rather than like put his head down and like no, like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. Like you can either show contrition or you can get up and be like, no.
That's a public school.
No.
That's a public school. You know they don't know about contrition.
You could tell I was raised Catholic, right? So
Sorry.
He got up right away and was protesting. And so my reaction to that was not like, oh, he's an idiot. How can he think that's not a foul? It was, he's already trying to talk the ref down from a red. So yellow card was, I guess, shown right away, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he showed him yellow right away. They went to the monitor, but I don't think it was to see what the card would be. It was just to confirm a penalty, which that's dumb.
Yeah, you've already given the card, right? Can VAR put a card?
I guess he was looking to see if he needed to overturn the penalty.
Yeah.
But again, that's what I'm saying. These refs are losing all confidence because they can go to the monitor at any time.
And look, your question is, did that rise to the level of a red? Right? And you think that might be a little more open to interpretation?
Oh yeah. I think it could have been a red. I think it could have been.
Yeah.
I think what the ref might have seen is that there was no guarantee that Tanner was going to get his head on that ball.
No guarantee.
So there's
I agree with that.
That would I wonder if because you couldn't necessarily tell if Tanner Anderson was going to have an opportunity to score, that would make it a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, right? And it would need to be an obvious goal scoring opportunity, correct? I think. I don't know.
I agree.
Is that obvious?
The thing about it though, Zach, is it was a lot of times when you see that straight red given, it's in a bigger space. Like it's somebody who kind of has like a breakaway in the open field. This was in it was in a tighter space, and he was the last guy back there who could have gotten to this to the ball coming in, right? He would have had to make an incredible play on it to get. He could have. We've seen Anderson before. Anderson's a great finisher. He's a really crafty finisher. But he would have had to dive to get his head on it, dive to get his foot on it. But again, we've seen Anderson make those kind of plays before. It's it was possible when that ball.
But I mean, you have to base it off of the every player. I understand superhumans. That. You can't be like, well, if Inspector Gadget,
if his leg was 9 feet long, it was in. But no,
well, that's because
I still think he had a chance. I think he had a good enough chance because really break down the rule. There's no such thing as a guaranteed scoring opportunity. Like you're never.
But if you have the ball, if you have the ball at your
stupidest
feet,
shots ever.
But it's not an obvious goal. It's not a denial of a goal. It's a denial of the opportunity to score a goal. And so he has to have a chance to shoot the ball. That's one-on-one with the goalie. A chance to shoot the ball is, in my mind, a goal scoring opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we don't know if he would have had the opportunity to put that ball on frame. I don't know if he gets there, even if nobody touches him. So to me, that's why it only would land a yellow. That's in my mind. That's probably why he made that call.
So being the guy without the ball, being the guy off the ball, the recipient of the pass puts a higher burden of proof. You would say, if we're putting it kind of in legal terms, there's a higher standard than if you're the dribbler who just gets.
That's my theory.
Yeah, I mean, that's
if you don't have it in your possession, do you have a chance to score yet?
Yeah. I guess all of that is reasonable, and I'm not 100% sure that tackle was intended. He may have tripped a little bit, but he still did it.
He still took him down. Yeah, no, it was a foul. It was yellow.
He still two-arm took a guy down who was going toward goal with a ball coming to him. So, oof,
I mean, if you want to talk about fouls or cards, I want to talk about the Greg Louganis dive that did not get called. Did not get called for simulation. What was it? Which way was it going? I think it was second half. I want to say it was second half because the guy was going left or right to left, and he put both of his knee to foot down, like he put it straight up in the air behind him
to trip
and
himself.
He just was like, right. It was gross. Like I don't know how that got called on the Billikens, and I don't know how there wasn't a yellow card for NC State. But we talked far too long about the refs and rules. The most butt puckering of butt puckering moments in this game came with 3 minutes left when Kareem Puri, KP, sent across to Drake Fournier, and he almost ties it. He puts it, it's heading right for the net. NC State player gets a deflection on it. The Billikens couldn't convert the corner, but Pete, this was looking like it was heading to the back of the net. Even with the deflection from where I was sitting in the stadium, I thought it was still going to go in.
Live, it was from the broadcast angle, it was like you could tell it was close. But when you saw the replay, I really gained an appreciation as to how close this was. Like I'm not sure how I don't think I appreciated in real time. And what a moment that would have been, by the way, right? Like the guy who has the handball to then come back on the other end and have the game tying goal to put the thing into overtime. That would have been a really poetic moment. Winds up being a heartbreaking moment because they just got barely enough of a piece on it to get it out and send SLU to a corner kick rather than give them the goal.
SLU had some more opportunities, but nothing serious from there. NC State, I felt, was devoid of any accountability from the official in that second half.
Yeah.
Especially after they scored both goals. I mean, the time wasting was a joke.
They needed a time wasting yellow early to send the message.
They needed multiple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they got the early one, maybe they wouldn't have, goofed around as much, right?
NC State had the ball out of bounds. Billiken fans in attendance were counting 10 to 20 seconds every time the ball would leave the field of play or be in the keeper's possession. It was awful. But that is the end of this season. They finished with an incredible 13-3-8 record, an unbeaten streak that lasted 3 months, 4 months,
14 games. Yeah.
Yeah. Pete, a little bit of the talking points here.
Yeah, I was, look, I was devastated by this loss. Obviously, Zach, it was hard, but
did you cry?
I didn't. I didn't
either. I was strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
I sat back and in pretty quick order was able to collect my thoughts and go, you know what? We're in a good spot here. I feel good about this program. The team's young. That's a Final Four appearance, and we haven't seen one in 28 years. You just have to be happy about the state of the program overall. SLU loses 5 players whose eligibility will be up. That's Abonnel, which is a big one.
Well, we still don't know yet. Hey. That's always an iffy.
Anything can happen.
Never say never.
But assuming no crazy changes, Abonnel, Easton, Barnett, Blair, and Paris, yeah, big names in there, right? That's a big 5 to who can't return, but that also means that's a lot of other guys who can return. There's a huge core of young, talented, a lot of them local or regional players to build around if you can retain them. I mean, let's be eyes wide open about the realities of NIL and transfers and all that kind of stuff in the current landscape. But there's a lot to build around here, Zach, a lot. I just think I came away from this game going, we lost to a team that was just better, but chin up because this team is going to make a lot of noise again next season.
Did Axel Torres get hurt again? What's going on with him? Do we know?
I looked into that when I was going through the roster, which I
And you
guess
realized
usually
that you hadn't seen the name Axel Torres
and
in
I was like,
months.
"Oh my God, there's Axel Torres," and he played
He
a
played
very
against South Florida.
yes,
Played
and then
nine
not
minutes.
again. So my assumption was yes, there was a re-injury there or something.
Oh boy. Um. Anyway, I felt that was one of those where I'm like, I need to ask, but I feel too dumb. It's been too long at this point that
I know.
I can't ask.
I Googled a little bit and could not figure it out. So no, yeah, I don't know.
Pete, one of the more interesting things about kind of the whole experience for me being there was seeing the Billikens play on a stage that you don't normally get to see. And
Yeah,
I'm not, and of course the College Cup is the stage, right? But so is the stadium, and so is the whole kind of like the venue and the fanfare. Um, when you're watching on TV, there's a different vibe to it, right?
yeah.
The broadcast is doing little featurettes. They're bringing in interesting stories. Talk about your watch experience.
It was good, Zach. It was look, the broadcast was good. It was ESPNU. It wasn't ESPN Plus. And we had what I would say would be NC State friendly announcers, which was to be expected. I think the guys were. I don't think it was NC State's crew, but and I'm assuming I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming it's the same guys who did the Washington game before ours, the Washington Furman game. But overall, I think they did a good job. They sung the praises of St. Louis as a soccer community, and obviously with national broadcasters coming in, they don't know the program intimately like we do. There's some stuff that they exaggerate or kind of miss the point on a little bit. All of that was fine. It was a clean broadcast overall. It was fine. It was just they cut a couple times to slew watch parties. I wish I could have been at least at one of those, if not at the games themselves like you were. But yeah, it was just really cool to see that that slew had, given the circumstances where you're essentially playing a quasi home game against this team in the Final Four, which you never really want to see. The way that SLU's soccer community and St. Louis's soccer community rallied to all watch this team, I don't want to say surprised me, but it was kind of like, whoa, that's right. This program has a lot more like I remember as a kid thinking like, whoa, SLU soccer is as good as it gets in college soccer. Like that's a blue blood. That's a real, this is a real deal soccer city. And I always have grown up with that impression. But then to see that kind of come back and sort of coalesce into a really big community watching this game, I thought was really cool. So I certainly wish I could have been part of that and not just on the couch in Cincinnati. But still a surreal experience to see a Billiken team in a Final Four. And I feel like this isn't going to be the last one.
Yeah, I watching it back, I was kind of tickled by like the graphics
Yeah.
and how seeing like the Billiken lineup on a graphic was just very like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, the College Cup is one of those things. Like I can't tell you how many times I haven't like intentionally sat down to watch it, but
Yeah.
I'll be somewhere where it's on and then you realize like, oh yeah, this is when it gets to be a national broadcast, like a true national
Yeah.
broadcast.
It was really, really cool to rewatch the broadcast. I thought the video of the first ever the first win for the Billikens in 59, or I think it was 59. And the field is just mud, and it looked like the Washington pitch from 2021.
Yeah.
About that bad. But one of the other cool things this week was the social media stuff, man. Did you get some of the stuff with I know we tried to reshare a bunch of the NCAA stuff, but like the guessing what year the broadcast was.
I didn't engage with a whole lot of that, but that was a really cool clip, by the way.
Yeah,
It was
and like
amazing.
well the interesting was that it was the Billiken game against Howard, which makes me want to
Mhm.
go back and find that
Yeah.
that video of the full, because it's got to be out there somewhere, But yeah, I thought that was really neat. And then they did music, decade. They did other stuff too, which was really interesting. I just love. I geek out on that stuff. It's so cool to see kind of the higher end graphics and the higher end production values with the Billiken logo and the players' names. So, yeah, this has been. I'm shocked that I'm sitting upright right now. It's been a long weekend. I should have just stayed in North Carolina yesterday, to be honest with you, and flown back today, because it was genuinely a brutal experience.
The travel.
Yeah, the 1,700 miles. I added it up over 48 hours. I feel extremely hungover right now.
If you had driven that many miles, I would be a lot more impressed. Just
yeah, thank you for that. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, it was cool. Like flying out Friday morning, Southwest. Former Billiken goalkeeper, 92 grad, Jay Zaber was on the flight, so got to chat him up a little bit. He used to run.
Start, by the way, did you recognize him or what?
Oh yeah, I met him before. Like up with like I used to sit up in the corner, and like Pete Sorber would be up there with a bunch of other older guys, and I'd chat them up, sit around them, and buddy of mine from college, Blake Schneider, his dad, Blake played on the Bills. They all sit up there. So I'd sit up there, and then Jay would be up there on occasion. And Jay is like for years and years, he was the face of the alumni, like Billiken Soccer Club.
Got it.
So yeah, every Billiken knows Jay Zaber. Jay is the guy behind the guy. Yeah. When it comes to Billiken soccer, super cool guy. And then also on my flight, there was they were the Billet family for Drake Fournier, I want to say. It was a couple. They hosted Drake, and then their niece was with them, and she's Jeremy Abonnel's girlfriend, which was very funny.
Okay.
So I spent the entire time gushing over her boyfriend. That was weird.
I love him more.
Yeah, no, he's mine. This just got awkward. Yeah, I got in around noon, went for a run. It was beautiful weather, man. Like snow, like it was like sleety snow. It was freezing rain kind of, but more on the snow side. I drove over to the stadium to see I thought they might have had merch or like some sort of fan fest outside because they said the fan zone, and that opened at like 4. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, can I just pop over there and see like what they got going on, take some video and whatever. And it was just kind of nothing. It was really dark at that point, honestly. Yeah. And nothing was really going on. So then I drove, and you had to park. Like I parked on the other side of some train tracks in like an industrial park. And yeah, it was a hell of a walk to the actual stadium, but drove over to Sport and Social. The food at the pregame party, I mentioned it off the top. So good. These pulled chicken nachos. Holy shit. Loved them. By the way, again, Abby Ferguson put it on with SLU alumni, Annalise Piven involved in that. They did a great job. The alumni I got to see there, Eric Sweeten, John D. Ramondo. I mentioned Jay earlier. Kevin Johnston was there. He's a goalie from the 90s, from like 1990. Not a goalie. He was not a goalie, but he 1990. Maybe it was a goalie. I don't remember. SLU folks were there. Katie Shields was there, our queen. Got to talk to her for a minute. She is salty. I think she loved being there for her colleague, but man, I don't think she loved being there at all. Does that make sense? Is
it just that she's so competitive?
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think she wants to be at the women's Final Four.
Yeah.
And competing herself. Like I don't want to be here watching. I want to be involved in it. So very funny to get to talk to her. I briefly chatted with Dr. Feezer. If you're listening, hey Doc. Thanks for listening.
Very loyal.
Thanks for checking out the show. Well, no, I was like, hey man, I just want to introduce myself. I cover the Bills from a fan perspective with my podcast co-host, Midtown Madness. Check us out. The Billiken cheer was in attendance, a group of students as well. Shout out to those kids for making this trip, and it's a tough time with academics and shit. So like that's huge. These are the moments that can turn students into just hardcore fans. And so good on the department for making that happen. I believe they had part of it. They were involved in financially making it happen for these kids. So, Kevin Stoll's family, he had a bunch of family down there. And then, people came out of the woodwork for this one. Not only at the game, there was a ton of Billiken fans at the game, but like online.
It was you get used to, there's a certain rhythm, Zach, and there's a certain like rotation like of people, right? Who like the kind of people who are the and don't get me wrong, appreciate every single one of them.
Yes, no,
the people who reply to our stuff, like we're familiar with them, mm-hmm. right? Like, okay, these are the people we talk to on Twitter. These are the people we talk to on Billikens.com. We know our little Discord. We know our little online communities. And so many of the people who started talking to us, responding to stuff, retweeting us, stuff like that, were not people that we have seen before. And that was really cool. It did feel like there's a larger, like if we're looking at an iceberg, there's a larger community under there that we don't necessarily see or interact with all the time. And it was really cool that a lot of that stuff kind of bubbled up to the surface for this. And we really do appreciate everybody who has in any way whatsoever interacted with us, listened to us, responded, whatever. We do appreciate it. It was really cool to see. It was very, to me, a very positive vibes thing around all of this.
It boggles my mind when people like do ask me if I'm Midtown Madness, and I feel bad now saying that like I'm Midtown Madness because like we are Midtown Madness, right? But I think when it more front facing, like you're Tom Morello and I'm Cornell, like you play the shit out of that guitar.
I love that your mind immediately goes to Audio Slave. That's the
That's a long story. That's
not
a long
Soundgarden or Rage Against the Machine. It goes to Audio Slave.
That has built, like I can tie that to my Billiken fandom.
I don't know if we have time for that.
No, we don't. We'll get.
We're already an hour and a half into this.
At some point, we need to like interview each other.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah,
I think we should do that sometime.
That's a summer project.
Yes. Not that anybody really cares, but I just think it would be fun to like. We'd learn so much about each other. Stuff that we may not have wanted to know. But it was cool. I mean, like, somebody at the game was like, hey, somebody at the soccer game, like, was sitting a row behind me and was like, hey, are you Midtown Madness? I check you out on Twitter. Like, I enjoy what you guys are doing. And, I haven't listened to the podcast yet, which I was like, you know what? Fair play. Like, this is not for everybody. Like,
yeah, we'll take it.
And then, there were some like students, like, I don't know, they might've been high school dudes. Like I can't tell anymore. I have no idea, but they're like, hey, are you Midtown? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, we love your page. I was like, that's amazing, man. Thank you. By the way, I do want to like, while we're just like absolutely glazing our fans right now, metaphorically speaking, I just want to shout out all the people that donated to the show, because I forgot to do it at the top, and that's on me. But Rob A, I'm going to use just first name and last initial. I don't know who wanted. I should have told you to mention how you wanted to be named, but Rob A, Jack B, Brian G, John G, Warren L. Just unbelievable. Thank you guys. It's humbling. It really is. And so thank you so much. And again, if you want to support the show, we certainly don't expect it, but there is the QR code down below, and then in the audio only, it'll be in the description, the link to Venmo. But yeah, Pete, the only thing that I think we appreciate more than our fans, well, actually, I think we appreciate not our fans. I'm sorry, I slipped there. That's a Freudian slip. I'd like to apologize for that. Billiken fans who listen to our show.
There you go.
Yes. Is the guys over at 2 Men in a Garden, because they have been with us since we conceived, since about when you and I conceived this show.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. They've been there since the beginning, and the support just keeps getting better and better. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, we do now have officially a coupon code with 2 Men in a Garden, and I'm testing it in real time. I haven't done it yet because it just went live a couple days ago. So now I built an order here, and just to test this thing out, put in the coupon code. It works. I do want to give you a heads up. If you are going through your whole order and they do have a shipping amount on there, like I've had it before, like just now when I went through it, it had $20 for Canadian shipping on there for whatever reason. But as soon as I got to the end, I had already put in the code, got to the end, put in my billing and shipping details, and they realized it was a US address, and with that code it went right to free shipping. The code is very easy to remember: MMP, 3 letters, lowercase, capital, however you like it, they both work. Get in there and it cuts that already very low, very reasonable $9.99 shipping rate to 0. That's fantastic. I can tell you from everything else that I have had shipped to my house that has not had free shipping, shipping rates have really gone up. Jump on this. Take advantage of this. You're getting a high quality product to your door for free shipping. That's kind of ridiculous and increasingly unheard of in this day and age. And oh, by the way, there are certain companies, I won't name them, very gigantic companies that give you free shipping if you're a member, and it's really not free because their business practices drive up the product price of every product on their website. But we'll get into that later.
Will we ever get into that?
We
Probably
won't get
not
into
here.
That later. We won't get into that later.
But we will get into some basketball.
This company is not that. They charge a fair price for a great product, and you can get it for free. MMP is the code. 2meninagarden.com. Get on that now.
Men's basketball, one game this week. Very simple. An 85-75 win against San Francisco, the Dons, on Saturday the 13th. You know, back in the day, like in college, if something was bad, it was Don. Like, that's Don.
That's Don.
Yeah, that's Don.
Like slang.
Yeah.
I always associate Don with the mafia. So yeah. I like San Francisco Dons has always struck me as like,
I think that's kind of a what's the long name? Is it just the Dons?
It's just the Dons. That's it.
Okay. Sure. The attendance for this one, not great, Peter. Not good. Not okay.
It's a Saturday night. It's your only game of the week. It's one of the better opponents you're going to have in the gym this year, and you get 58-14 as the announced attendance. I think a lot of people coming into the game, Zach, were worried that it was going to be under 5, based on what they were seeing on Ticketmaster. So 58-14 announced attendance. I don't know how it looked there. You can comment on that. But
my eyes were only half open the entire game.
It looked better. I will say it looked better on TV than what I had expected. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said about attendance and pricing and stuff like that, but I don't think the crowd was as disastrous as people feared it would
No,
be.
no, it wasn't. But let's talk about tickets. Let's talk about specifically ticket prices, the sales tactics or lack thereof to sell tickets. 50% of capacity for a Saturday evening matchup between very good basketball teams for an 8-1 team, between two very good basketball teams where the home team is 8-1. I think something has to change here, Pete. I just think the get in the door price is too damn high.
Yeah. Yeah, so people were saying like to get it was about $30, give or take. I saw somebody say 32, somebody said 29 just to get a cheap ticket into the door.
And to be clear, we are talking about primary market. We're talking from Billiken Athletics because that is where SLU is getting the entire, non-fee portion of the ticket price.
The secondary market really isn't relevant here. I mean, I guess there could be a situation where probably where the second, like if there are this many unsold tickets, the secondary market would just have people dumping tickets to get anything back for them, right? So tickets would be below face in this situation on the secondary market, but we're talking directly from SLU itself.
Yeah, and I think I've said it before, and I will say it again. Billiken basketball currently is, in my opinion, and should be considered a value product. It needs to get in the door. You should pay $10. You should the get in the door price should be very low. Like again, you're a program who's wearing the Lou on your jerseys. You are for all intents and purposes attempting to be St. Louis's basketball team, the team for the people of St. Louis. You have to price your tickets at a price that is for the everyday family. And it's a weird, to me, it's this weird like vibe where St. Louis Billiken Athletics is a private school and, we're going to charge prices, a high-end private school, high-end athletics department. We're going to charge high prices, but we're also for the Lou, right? We want to be recognized by the people of St. Louis as their team. And there's a disconnect there. And I don't, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll say it. There's at the top of the department, there's a very big dislike for the city of St. Louis.
Just a flat out dislike.
Yeah. The culture of St. Louis. I'll say it. Like there's no respect for the city. Like there's none. It's like he doesn't like the city of St. Louis. Yeah, I'll say it.
I mean, he's not from there, which is not a requirement for the position.
Yeah. No, but look, I don't like the St. Louis like cult either. I really don't. Like I don't like the high school thing. I don't like it. But like I understand its place within the culture of this city. And it's meaningful in this city to a lot of people. And things that are meaningful to the people of my city are meaningful to me. I'm not gonna ask you where you went to high school, unless it's you, because I know you take it seriously.
What I will say, Zach, putting all of that aside, because I don't really think that's
tangent alert.
That to me is not the issue here. I think this this is a product, like you say, it's a value product. And I would agree with that, but it's also, this is a product for everybody. And you have your old donors. And if you want to charge them a high season ticket price to sit up front, to sit in those either courtside seats or the cushion seats or whatever, the suites, that's a premium product at a premium price. It should be. Yep. I am of,
and half of them aren't showing, by the way.
That's the frustrating part to me with them, but that's my issue with them personally. Give your tickets to somebody.
But that's also the athletic department still being like, just kind of putting their head in the sand about it. Yeah. They need to take that up with those companies.
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because I don't get paid to take that up. Like,
so what I'm saying is, like, there still needs to be a get in the door price that incentivizes just regular people, regular families to go. This is how you create fans for life. I am a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals for life because at any point in my childhood, I could get in the door for $2. Like, so my family, we would go on certain discounted days, not all the time, but then for a number of years, my mom would drop me and my brother and our friends off, and we would just get $2 tickets to get in the Old Bush Stadium. $2.
yeah.
And then we were just,
and again, we're talking about a different sport, a different time,
a different sport, a different time.
Totally. But, I want to throw that import. Exactly.
The point
I want
is,
to get you to your point.
There were people down in the 100s paying a lot more than that. There are people in the suites paying a lot more than that. But there is an option for working class kids to get in the door and run around unsupervised for 3 hours. St. Louis Blues had a number of discounted nights in the old arena, and it's been like less so over time. I'm a lifelong fan of a team that I went to see in person several times a year in the old barn, because there were several nights a year that were really cheap tickets, certain promotions and stuff like that. Now there's almost no way that people get into Cardinals and Blues games at deep discounts. There aren't many promotions like that at all. It's very, very expensive no matter how you do it. Regular people, regular fans, families are being priced out of these things. Can I afford to take my family, wife and kids to every game in a season, like for FC Cincinnati or Xavier or whatever my local options are? Yeah, I can, but I don't want to, because it's just like, it's not worth it to spend $200 to take 4 people to one game on a Wednesday night. It's just not. It's and that's before parking, beers, and all that kind of stuff. So like I think this is a nationwide problem, in that we're just running out of options. But I still think, like, among that environment, SLU has an opportunity here. Make it 2,000 or fewer seats. Make it the upper ends or something like that.
No, in my mind, I think the upper bowl for non-conference should be sold at like the same price. Nobody wants to go to these non-conference games. Clearly, like I shouldn't say that, but like clearly there's an issue. But I don't think there's a demand that raises to the level where your upper bowl could have multiple price points. I don't know.
You and I already complained that this athletic department seems to be gearing its mission towards satisfying and getting money from just the highest echelon of donors. Yes. They are completely ignoring all of the lower tiers of potential fans, and they're completely ignoring future generations of fans. The kind of kids that were me in the 1990s, who went to SLU games, and who through the generosity of friends and family and stuff like that. But like, it was a reasonable thing to do. Like, we weren't priced out of doing that. And, it just kind of breaks my heart that those opportunities are becoming fewer and fewer. And the only kids who are going to the games anymore are like a decreasing number of families who have money, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And your whole thing about like SLU being a private school, I guess that's part of the vibe too. But like, you haven't had a premium product in a long time.
Men and women for others, Pete.
And you better be a little more community oriented in your pricing.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say something.
Sorry, I threw a lot.
No. Imagine that. I had something to say. It's so often. They are now offering $71 prorated season tickets. Just got the email Sunday afternoon, which is funny because I believe Gaines Time said this exact thing almost to the T. I think it was $1 off. We're going to get into some of that because he got on Twitter. He was pretty vocal. And I was talking to him today. I was DMing him and I said, hey man, you got to come on. We got to talk shop on the show about tickets and everything, because I think it'd be a really good discussion. And I wanted to get into that and kind of add some things from my mind to it, but I'm down with it. It's a $71 conference only prorated ticket package. You got to call it like your A10 pack or your conference pack.
Yeah.
The name prorated just sounds like you're pro. You know what gets prorated, Pete?
What gets prorated, Zach?
My goddamn electric bill. Like my rent is prorated.
Bills get prorated. Yeah.
Yes, bills get prorated. Why? Wait, bills get prorated?
Boom. That's it. Bills get. That's why they're using it. They're a step ahead.
They're playing 5D chess on us. Unbelievable.
Bills get prorated. Just
bills
like
get prorated.
Did you move in on the 15th prorated bill? You buying a season ticket? These bills are prorated, baby.
Your bills are prorated. Your St. Louis Bills are prorated. That's unbelievable.
but Zach, this we found out about this today. It was emailed out to people who are already in the Billiken Club,
yes,
season ticket holders,
or has like they have an email database, right? Their ticket software, Ticketmaster, I'm sure holds the database of all the emails of people who bought tickets, but like, I don't know. I just don't think an email going out to all those people or tweeting to the people, the same Twitter followers over and over is really going to move the needle. Like, I guess you're trying to, I guess the motive is that you're trying to get the season ticket holders that have been holding out. I mean, I don't know, jump back on the bandwagon, needle them a little bit for jumping off the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I don't know, for a little friendly, a little friendly fire. I don't know. You got to do something. Come on. Let's break out the creativity. Smoke a doobie, come up with something to call it. So my thought process is, maybe next year they should offer like a super cheap non-conference pack. $5 tickets, random. It's a random assigned seat every game, right? Like you don't get to pick your ticket. You know what I mean? You don't get to pick it, but the SLU assigns it to you based on best available or random draw. I don't know. Yeah. So to go on to Gaines's ideas. One, he said, why don't you read them and then I will offer my thoughts.
Okay. Number one, prorated season tickets now for conference games starts at $70.
Somebody give him commission.
Somebody read. Yeah.
And while you're at it, cut us a check too.
Number two, VCU package. You get the VCU game plus 2 more conference games of your choice, not including.
I like that. Actually.
Starts at 40.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I would go 35. So it's 3 games for 11, 15 a piece, right? Or it's 2 games for, it's the Dayton game for $35 and 2 for, I don't know, however you want to put it out there. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, Dayton package, same as above. As for VCU. So you say 35.
I would price at 35.
Number 4, holiday package, 4 conference games of your choice, not including VCU or Dayton, starts at $60.
Yeah, and I would go with $50 there. I liked the other 2 being 2 games for $10, 1 for 5 or 15. So you get the VCU game for 15 or the Dayton game for 15, and you get the other 2 for $10 a piece. Yeah. With this one, 4 games of your choice, you get it at like, I don't know, what is it, $13.33 or something like that a game.
Yeah.
So I would lower it to 50.
Okay. Yeah. Number 5, student raffle each home game, $250 to a random student. Each game announced at the second half under 8 timeout.
I love this idea, or like a math, like a flats, what are we calling them now? Well, what's the I don't want to sound like a TV, like I almost said like a flat screen TV, as if there's any other kind of TV now. I don't know, a gigantic ass TV.
A gigantic TV.
I got it. A projector. Somebody get them a sick projector. Every college kid needs a sick projector.
That's more practical than a TV that will not fit in their room.
Yes, 500. I would change it to 500 to 1,000. And then I would do it at the under force. We know SLU students are notorious for dipping out.
The drama builds all the way to the end.
Yes, exactly. What I would add to that as well is I would offer anyone, like going forward for the rest of the season, I would offer anyone with season tickets in the ends the opportunity to reseat to the middle section for the rest of the season. This is all kind of in a grand plan together. So you could do that as a best available reseat, or you could let the people select their own seats. Don't really care. I would offer the people with the seats in the middle that are already there, I would offer them $20 credit to the concession stand or team store, their choice. And then I would sell the ends for $10 a piece when using a credit card with a St. Louis address.
Okay.
So that out of town fans couldn't take. They say out of town fans can still buy tickets, but I don't want them to use that $10 deal.
All right, I like it.
So that's my last idea, I guess. Look, all I'm asking for is for some creativity and some thinking outside the box. The constant email blasts and Twitter and tweets are only going to do so much. It doesn't cost anything, those two things, but like it also doesn't move the needle. And it doesn't build the future.
Yeah.
So I would encourage them to look more into grassroots marketing. It really doesn't cost you that much except people's time, and you have interns that can do that sort of stuff and ticket sales reps.
Yeah.
But speaking of just what are we doing here? This is what we teased at the outside. We haven't even gotten to the game yet.
We have one more segment, and then we're going to talk about an actual sporting event.
We are losing listeners by the minute here.
It's fine. We'll just tell them to fast forward to the 150 mark if you want to hear about the basketball game.
Actually, I will do that. They reintroduced the Lou jerseys in a new template, and you go first, and then I'll just
I just like, this is back to the original comment at the top of the show. Like, this looks like the Temu version of the jersey when they introduced the Lou jersey last year. Our minds were blown. They looked great. The script was cool.
Our head exploded.
Everything looked like the numbers, the lettering, the piping, everything looked good together. And when they zoomed in on these jerseys, like into the timeout or the huddle right before the game, I was like, wait, what? Like, nothing looked right. Everything looked like it didn't match. The names on the back of the jerseys, again, were either too small or they didn't match the guy next to him. The piping was like just one big bold blue, and then you have the font with like the white trim around. Like, what is going on here?
I actually thought the numbers and the Lou script were the only redeeming, and the shoulder striping, because I actually like that on the white jerseys as well. Those to me, those were the only redeeming qualities of these. I thought they looked horrible. The names, obviously, that's a thing that's happening nationwide with Nike right now. And then the fucking side stripe. What is that?
It's blue. Like, so the one stripe is blue, and then at the waistband it goes white.
Yes.
But then behind it you have like this like diagonal hash pattern thing. It's like the NIL. They were like, hey, do you see the jerseys that they're selling at the NIL store? Do that. Do something like that. Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't understand why the stripe is a different color.
Yeah.
But I thought
just changes colors halfway down.
Yeah. It's very jarring. I thought the font looked good on TV. Honestly, I thought the numbers looked good on TV.
The font's cool. I don't have an issue with that. Yeah, that's fine.
The numbers looked good. I was bummed out that it said the Lou and not Billikens. Like, honestly, we've seen the Lou. Let's do something else.
Well, I don't mind like bringing back the Lou jerseys. It's just like all the tweaks they've made make no sense.
We had amazing jerseys last season for the most part. And I think this was just it's an example of trying to do too much. And I don't know where that comes from, or if this is just like here's the template we're going to use for this level of Nike support.
And the pattern on the side, the pattern down the side, like along with the stripe, it's too busy. It kind of gets washed out on TV. You don't really see what's going on there. You know how Georgetown always had like a thick band on the side of their jerseys and shorts, like back in the Thompson years, like they had that thick band on the side, and there was always a kind of pattern. It usually kind of worked, right? Like because it was unique, it was contained. It was repetitive all the way down. Mm-hmm. What they're doing here is just weird. There's like diagonals that are switching directions and switching colors and switching like thickness and stuff like that. And I don't really understand what they're going for there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It almost looks like it's like a tie pattern, like a pattern you'd see on a tie.
Yeah, right. But kind of like an old tie, like a 90s tie.
I just don't understand the blue to white. What happened there?
Yeah, very.
It doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. You know what I will say about these though, as I zoom in here, I like the way the Billiken. I like the collar, the way the Billiken is. It kind of goes.
Oh, hang it, yeah, like
it's within the yeah. It kind of does look that way. Again, I think the tops not bad. Tops are not bad.
The one thing I'm sticking with like the blue band around the collar and the armholes. I still think should have white trim to match.
Probably. Oh yeah, I don't. I think we're missing some white, and I think it's just random. That's not. Don't clip that. I just don't know what is the white doing on the shorts. Like if there's no white on the jersey on the sides, what is it doing on the shorts?
It's jarring.
The whole vibe kind of reminds me of like this area, the upper area reminds me of a vibe from like your era, like the Drea jerseys. It's very thick.
Yeah, that's right.
We always had a thick kind of
thick band. Thick,
monochromatic
band.
Double C thick.
We definitely did.
All right, let's move on to some actual basketball. Game. Yes. Yeah. The first half was probably the worst half of basketball we've seen at Chaffetz this season. And Pete, was it maybe the worst second half outside of Stanford?
Yeah, I would still say the second half against Stanford was worse than the first half here, but this was a really bad first half, Zach. And somehow we led 31-30 at halftime. SLU was 2 of 12 from 3 and 11 from 32 overall. But I kept harping on shot selection. I think that was the issue. I started saying it right away, like the first media timeout. It's like, stop taking dumb shots and we'll be fine. But then they kept going on. And then at halftime, Schertz was clearly upset. He called it out right away. After the game, he said they made bad decisions at the rim. They took hard shots and missed open teammates. He said it again on KMOX on the radio the next morning. The shot selection drove me crazy. You could say whatever you want about everything else, but they just weren't making good choices.
San Francisco, I thought, really took the air out of the ball, especially in the first half. They didn't really let the Billikens get out in transition off steals or misses.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, they wanted to slow this down. We knew they would. There's no question about that. But when you finally do get those shots, you can't take stupid shots. I think was the problem. But yeah, I don't disagree with you at all.
I thought it was a lot of SLU not knowing what to do when they weren't able to get transition baskets or get out in transition. So it kind of just stymied them a little bit there. The moment that really changed that first half was a switch up in defensive intensity by the Billikens with just under 5 minutes to play. I believe right before it, they were something ridiculous, like 1 of 14 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it culminated with a brutal Robbie Avila travel, which, by the way, him complaining on correct whistles is back, and I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, a little frustration, but they did erase that San Francisco lead, Zach, of 8 going into the locker room up 1. Part of it was, our defense was a little shaky to start out. San Francisco was bombing away from 3. They shot way more than we expected, way more than they normally do, as Stu pointed out. They hit 5 early, but then cooled off and ended up, I think, 5 of 14 from the half.
Where the heck are we? I have Pete. Go ahead. I was trying to look up something on San Francisco, and I just totally got lost.
All right, I didn't see that you were. Normally, I can tell when you're reading if I have the video up, but I was reading the notes. Second half, Zach, much better, much better. 54 points, 19 of 30 from the field, 5 of 12 from 3, which means 14 of 18 from inside the arc. Again, better shot selection, better results. It wasn't, we didn't crack some unusual code here. But it was far from a perfect half. San Francisco got to within 4 pretty late, 77-73. But the Bills created a couple turnovers, had a couple steals that turned into layups or dunks, and it was over. Deion Brown was a big part of that, right? He wasn't in that all-guard lineup, we'll get to in a minute, that injected a kind of different energy into the game, but he was the main catalyst of the turnovers and finishes that iced the game.
He just makes some shit happen when he gets in.
He does. He's a disruptor.
He's disrupting a $50 million industry.
He's got a lot of Jordan Goodwin kind of tendencies. I mean, he's a much different looking player, but what he brings is Goodwin-esque, and it makes you
defenders hate him for this one weird trick.
I love it. He's clickbait, man.
Yes,
it's
clickbait. Deion Clickbait Brown.
Yeah, for sure. That's what he is, out there disrupting all over the place. But aside from those late plays, turnovers, really not a big factor in this game, which is fine. Each team finished with 9, great number. SLU 1 points off turnovers, 14-11, so it just wasn't a big deal. But SLU did out-rebound USF by 11. Points in the paint, Zach, were 46-22. Bullied them inside a little bit.
We did, and to think that we did much of our damage with a small ball lineup, it's kind of outrageous.
It really is, yeah. And that's okay. So before we get to that, SLU did struggle with a couple of their players, Riley and Beasley. They pretty much shut everyone else down until that legend Smiley dude hit 3 threes in the second half.
His parents stink.
Legend. No pressure to live up to a name here. You could always name your kid Tag, like the NC State soccer player, and anything he achieves will.
That's a really great. Totally, everybody will get that reference.
Give him a low bar of a first name.
Yes,
and he'll never
like Zach
with no K or H. So what really swung the momentum, Zach, as we've hinted at, 2 different stretches going with a smaller lineup. I think it was Amari McCautry, Kellen Thames, Quentin Jones, Ishan Sharma, and Brady Dunlop, both times, if I have that right. So Matt Rocchio called this the chaos lineup in all caps, and it really did create some matchup issues that frustrated the Dons, Zach. I mean, these guys, it just felt different when this group was on the court.
Yeah, we before we break down the individual performances in this game, we need to break down these refs. They were
of injecting different energy into this game.
I mean, I don't know, man. These guys stunk.
The guy with the whitest hair. There was a guy with white hair, a guy with gray hair.
I got a little ageist in the things I said last night.
You're not too proud to admit it, huh? They were bad. They were inconsistent at best, but it seemed like they were vindictive at worst, especially that one guy.
It's yeah, you could see. I mean, Schertz was frustrated. The players were frustrated. I thought they were just calling very different fouls on each end. SLU was fouling, no doubt, but like San Francisco was fouling, and it was just not being called. I thought they just weren't like they were just not all there. Like they just got off the plane from Baltimore.
It's funny because you'll see like you see on I don't get that at all, by the way. Oh, you were the one who got off the plane from Baltimore. I'm trying to think of like, okay, what movie are you talking about? That's what always happens when you make one of these references. I'm like, oh God, what 90s sports movie is this? But no, that so
MVP, most valuable primate.
What you noticed was so many different people complaining about the refs in a way that was just like there's something wrong here, you know? Like it's not like we were losing the game or getting blown out or having there wasn't like some catastrophe. It was just like everyone acknowledging like these guys stunk, right? I think they just I don't know. They kind of lost the plot here, Zach. And it never really got better.
I thought the most emblematic of the whole ordeal was when the Don fell out of bounds with the ball in his hands and the official gave it to him. Like he pointed their way and Shirts. I've never seen Shirts run that fast. He didn't run that fast. He didn't. He that was his 40 time would have been incredible if he kept going. He didn't run that fast out of the tunnel at the Billiken Madness.
It was really funny because he pops into frame and then they change cameras. So you just see this like streak into frame. And I was like, is that Shirt? And then they changed angles and it was so you were zoomed in and you couldn't see him moving like that. But it was so funny. It was so funny. I was like, oh, he's mad. He's as mad as I am.
And I want to know what do you think the ref says in that moment?
It's a good question.
I want to know.
I don't.
Can one of the media in good standing ask that next media availability? Rockio, I know you listen. I know you go to media availability. Ask it for me.
When I was close to refs, the thing that you will notice is they will never just say, yeah, we got that one wrong. It's, to calm down.
They just have to make the next wrong call to make up for it.
That's right.
Which is the dumbest. Like this is the thing is that maybe the humble pie that VAR has given soccer referees, maybe, giving them less confidence needs to come to the basketball officials because those guys had way too much confidence in how bad they were.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Never admit mistakes. Never admit you're wrong. They definitely had that.
I will say the guy that paints his hair, the only guy that was dishonest about what his hair actually looks like, was the best of the night. He was making calls from the other side of the court.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not look, all I'm saying is the spread was what, 11 and a half? 11 and a half. Look at how that game ended. I'm not, and to be, I'm going to be serious here. I'm not talking about any of the players on the court.
Yep.
None of the
it wasn't them. It wasn't them.
No. Who gets the game ball here? Because McCautry has 18 points, but he's 0 for 3 from 3, 6 of 12 from the line, and he left a lot of points on the table.
McCautry was one of those who was kind of driving me crazy in the first half. And I know this was one where, Zach, at the end of the game, I don't think I realized how many points he had. Like I thought he was, 14-ish. I didn't realize it was 18. That surprised me. Because his for one, his 3-point shot is just completely broken, right? Teams are trying to bait him to shoot. They're giving him unlimited time and space out there, and they successfully got him to take 3 in this game. He took 2 shots that were just barely inside the free throw line. He missed both of those. I didn't think either of them were good shots in rhythm, anything like that. I don't know what those were. Those were, I think, both in the first half. So his decision making was frustrating, and yet he only turned it over 1 time. So I kind of thought like, okay, maybe he is improving that aspect of his game, but some of the other decisions have to improve too.
Yeah, and I think what's frustrating here is he was the kind of the go-to when you had Kaluanya, who teams were sagging off him because he couldn't make a 3. Now they're doing the same thing to Amari.
Yeah.
And in my mind, well, actually, it was on somebody on the board mentioned it, and I agreed. And he said when they sag off, just go at them, run downhill, and you're so good and adept at making moves in the paint and kind of adjusting to make the shot. Like, go at them. The officials aren't calling charges anymore.
I completely agree with that too, Zach, because by the way, he had one that was called a block. This is one that the refs put in our favor that I think would have been in most circumstances or most other seasons. I don't know if they're kind of changing how they're calling it, a player control foul.
Was that the one where the guy slid over?
He was going kind of not all.
It was more on a break.
He was coming in from the side. And the defender kind of got under him. But McCautry was I think you could consider him out of control.
It was the and one though. I think did he make that? He made the shot.
I can't even remember because what I'm picturing is the way that he fell into the defender. Anyway,
I just saw he made an and one, and I thought that was. But honestly, go back him down. Then.
So I agree with you completely. I think before it's if they're going to give him that much, start dribbling. Start dribbling.
He's such a good passer. He's such an underrated passer.
Well, certainly good enough that once you take the dribbles inside and they realize you're not shooting the three and they have to come out on you, now you have the ability to either catch them on their heels or find a teammate, right? So yeah, you're absolutely right. He's got to fix you're not going to find your shot shooting 2 3-pointers a game over the course of a season. You got to find your shot somewhere else.
Yeah.
And until then, don't bother with it. That 3-point shot.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing about McCautry and these negatives and his inability to shoot is that if he didn't have, the turnovers and out of control sometimes, we wouldn't be able to afford him.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. And it's certainly something you also worry about with him starting to kind of break out as it is.
Yeah.
But Zach, do you worry that teams are kind of playing him the way they played Anya last year?
Well, yeah. I mean, for sure. But I think the difference is that McCautry can pass the damn ball.
Yeah.
And Anya he could, but just not he's McCautry is more of a point guard. So I want to see McCautry maybe go in and back a player down and then find a cross court, a skip pass, or a cutter needs to get to the hole. No, I think there's ways to work around it. And he still needs to take a 3-point shot a game. Just to, make them honest,
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Let's talk about clickbait. No, that was clickbait Quentin Jones. Or was it clickbait Deion Brown?
It was Deion Brown.
Yeah, clickbait Deion Brown, the disruptor.
So he had a tough first half, I thought, offensively, but his rebounding was outstanding as always. I think he was just trying to do too much offensively.
Which is odd because he's one of the few guys I love trying to do too much.
He did have some turnovers, a couple that I did, he just he does this thing where he's going at full speed and he goes all the way under the basket without really having a plan. And it's at that point, you either have to know where you're passing it or how you're scoring it. And he does one extra half step. But
the beauty of his game is that some days, or a lot of the times when he gets in there, he figures it out.
A lot of times he does, but a lot of times he has the worst turnovers of the game because of it too. So he is funny like that.
And we couldn't afford him if he didn't.
We got to get everybody with a little bit of a discount.
Yes.
Had his second double-double of the season.
Slightly defective.
14 points, 11 rebounds, all 14 in the second half. But I think it's a fair point, Zach, that you still like watching him, even with the mistakes.
Yeah. When Deion Brown cranks it up, man, things happen. He makes good things happen for the most part.
It's true.
And that's all you want is for the most part, good things happen. Let's talk about Thames and Sharma because both had 10 and 5. Thames points all came at the rim. He is the most dynamic finisher we have had since Larry Hughes. He made one contested shot at the rim that was just baffling. His signature is becoming finishing through contact at the rim. I think that the way Thames plays basketball is more art than sport.
Mm-hmm.
I just think like my deepest cut reference is that he plays the game of basketball the way Christian Hosoi rode a skateboard. Just like that's why I love the Rufio, like the hair, like the flowing ponytail. Like I just think they're stylish. There's such style and finesse to the way that Thames plays the game of basketball. It's aesthetically beautiful every time he gets into the air. And if you want to understand that deep cut reference, go check out the documentary Rising Sun, The Legend of Christian Hosoi, Sun spelled S-O-N. It's a great documentary, but
it is.
Sharma, talk about Sharma.
Missed his first couple shots, but then found it in the second half. Went 2 of 5 from outside, which he really needed. 40%. He's been cold lately. Started out in California, and just has not rediscovered his shot. But I think you could argue he did in this game in the second half.
I thought the most underrated moment for Sharma in this game was at halftime. He gave the Billikens the lead going into the locker room.
Oh, okay.
There was like, the shot. Was it? Okay. No, it was a 3-point shot that fell short, and Sharma heads up, got to the rebound and put it up and got fouled there with about 2 seconds left on the clock. So the Billikens don't go in up 1 if Sharma isn't playing heads up there. I think his defense is so underrated as well. I think he's just a tough. He kind of does feel like Drea in a lot of ways. Just kind of a scrappy, hard-nosed, kind of crooked-nosed, just kind of looks like he's been in a few scrapes throughout the years. Like he's got, like he would get down in a fight if you needed him to.
The other thing is he's got a little Jimerson in him too, because he's always hunting that shot off the ball on the other end. He's a maximum effort at both ends kind of guy, which I appreciate.
I was gonna say we call him Deadpool, maximum effort.
There you go.
But I already call him 3-Sean. Robbie Avila, man. It's so weird because he's so damn good, but he's not he's not going to win any awards. He's one of the best players in the country, but he's never going to win an award. He may not even make first team A-10 this year. But he's unbelievable.
It's funny because good things happen when he's on the floor, right? I think he's being undervalued. A lot of this conversation happened on Discord last night.
All right, Billy Bean, chill out.
I think Zach, he's being undervalued because his counting stats are not jumping off the page this year. His minutes are down. He doesn't need to score as much as he had to last season because he's surrounded with so many other scorers, but he does so much else to make everything work. Shirts calls him a system monster is what he calls him. I agree with that completely. Like the plus minus, he's leading the team by far for the season. Heading into this game, he was. So I don't know. I just think everything flows better with him out there. So he had 9. Trey Green had 9. Avila had 24 minutes. Zach. So I thought. It's just this is not a game that jumps out to you either the eye test or on the page, but he's just so good.
He had 24 minutes in this one, 5 fewer than Beijing Barry Wong.
Yeah, the guy on the other side of the battle here, Quentin Jones.
That was also Bruce's boy. Bruce and him were friends.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we played them last year. Quentin Jones, reigning A-10 player of the week, led SWU with 34 minutes, which was a season high, but he was 8th in scoring, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
I thought he was huge in the start of this game, though.
He was, and it's another one where like I think we're the kind of team where there are going to be winners and losers in the box score every night, and he didn't have as much going on that on the stats in this game like Trey Green, but I thought his 34 minutes were earned.
Does Dunlap just look? I mean, and I want to say this as like um, a no shot at him at all. He just looks out of control. Like he looks way too like uh, he looks all over the place.
Said the guy who just hit his mic up into the air. But yeah, I think he kind of has that vibe to him, Zach, because number one, he's kind of skinny, right? And so like his movements just look a little bit. I don't know. There's just something different about the way he moves.
Maybe he needs to put the black shoes back on and slow him down a little bit.
He just he has a little bit more freneticism to his movements that I think he's just not as fluid a mover, which isn't to say he's not athletic or skilled or any of that kind of stuff. But I do think at the same time he's very active, right? 8 points, 2 of 5 shooting from three. He went down really hard on a layup attempt, drew the foul, and then after a minute to kind of regain his breath and everything, converted the free throws, and then he stayed in the game. I thought like, okay, wow, they're gonna let him shoot him. And then I thought, well, he'll make the second one and they'll take him out. Nope. Went right back on defense and played. So I kind of like his attitude. I like his personality. I like the little bit of freneticism to his game. And I want to see him kind of grow into that a little bit more over the course of the season.
Between Trey Green, uh, Dunlap, and Sharma, it really felt in this one. We took so many off kilter threes, like more off kilter threes than I ever remember a Billiken team taking ever.
We did, but you name those three guys specifically, and the good news here is like they all made shots.
Oh yeah, no, it's just very weird when you have so many years of kind of like very regimented ways to play the. I mean, obviously you had Swope, you had Isabel, but you never had two or three of that type of player.
Swope and Isabel, Trey Green shoots like them, rhythm shooters. They don't need to be squared. They need to be moving a little bit. I think Sharma is not like that, even though sometimes he shoots like that. I think he needs to be square. Dunlap too, I think needs to be not quite to the extent of Sharma. He's kind of in between the two, but I think he's closer to Sharma than Green. Zach, we only got 4 minutes out of Paul Otieno, 2 points, 2 fouls. Should we be worried? Was this a regression or just not his matchup?
You know, I don't know. Like it almost feels like we just don't even like. I think it's just an example of not needing him. You know, some days you just don't need everybody. Like we didn't need Robbie Avila to play 20 minutes last game. That's crazy. That's last year. That would have been you would have been like, oh, what injury did he have?
I know. Yeah, when you're playing 36 minutes a game, right?
Yeah. So it's I don't like. I think Otieno has found himself further and further out of the towards the end of the rotation.
Yeah.
Just by the sheer fact that we've done so well with that small ball lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had his 2 points were fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that shot was awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. Whatever. We won. Move on.
Okay, last thing then. The plus minus figures, Zach, I thought were crazy for this game. Avila and Green, we talked about how good they were. They're usually at the top.
Cut them.
Plus minus.
Cut them. Get them out of here.
-6 and -7, the two worst numbers on the team, which was funny. But they played shorter minutes, right? They only played 21 and 24 minutes. Thames actually led SLU, but played fewer minutes than they did, just 19 minutes. And
is he the most efficient guy in the country?
He might be. His metrics are off the charts. On all the like production per minute kind of metrics, just unreal. But yeah, he has been limited to about 20 minutes a game. The next two, McCautry was plus 15, Jones plus 14, were the two guys who played over 30 minutes. So you in this game, you either needed to play as much as possible or just that right segment, right? Sharma was plus 13. Dunlap was plus 10. Brown and Otieno were both -3.
Wow. I mean, Deion Brown, I loved what Deion Brown did in this game at his best. And I wasn't even that mad at him at his worst. And to go -3 is
no, not at all. But Thames, McCautry, Jones, Sharma, Dunlap, those five, that was that lineup, right? So that was the lineup that went in there and created some havoc, which I guess I can't use that word, but created some they changed the vibe of the game. They created some opportunities. So that's I think that's a wrap on San Francisco, Zach. But overall, you said it was an 11.5 point spread. SLU got 10. It doesn't do a whole lot for the metrics when you don't blow that number out. Are you disappointed that we didn't cover either Vegas or the Ken Palm or other analytical spreads?
no, because it was like a decent opponent,
Yeah.
metrically speaking.
Yeah.
Pete, we're heading into Wildcat Week. I don't know if you know that.
Back-to-back Wildcats. There are too many Wildcats, Zach.
Wildcats in the house.
Yeah, too many of them. First one is
What, you don't appreciate a High School Musical reference?
I've never seen High School Musical.
Oh man,
hopefully never will.
I was right. That came out right. Right.
Yeah, you're my sister's age. You know, I'm too old. Yeah. Bethune-Cookman, Wednesday the 17th.
I knew a girl named Beth Cook.
Did you really?
No.
Okay.
But it would be funny if I did.
It would be awesome. Wednesday the 17th, especially if she were from Daytona Beach, Florida. The Wildcats.
Bethune-Cookman is?
Yeah, it is. These Wildcats are coming off an 82-60 loss to our good friends over at Mizzou on Sunday. They're now 3-7 on the year with wins over South Carolina State, Ohio. I don't know how they did that one in Athens, and lower division Coastal Georgia. They've lost to Auburn, Miami, Dayton, Jacksonville, Stony Brook, and Indiana in addition to Mizzou. Unreal schedule, by the way. But about that Dayton game, they kept it close pretty much the whole time. Dayton ended up winning by 9. But that was an uncomfortable home bye game for the Flyers. They kind of had to hang on there. They did the same thing to Auburn. They took them to overtime and lost by just 5. Indiana and Miami blew them out. They're a good shooting team, much better than last season. They hit 36.1% of their threes, but only 18 attempts a game. They protect the ball. They only turn it over about 11 times. And I went looking for kind of common threads between Dayton and Auburn. What happened there? What happened was that Arterio Morris had huge games in both. He came off the bench in those games, but he starts typically. So he's a 6'4" junior transfer from Texas, and he's a kid who's capable of going 20 and 10 on any night. So a really dynamic player there. They shot it well from 3 in both of those games. Again, they don't shoot it a ton, but for example, they were 12 of 22 against Auburn. And then they shot well enough at Dayton to keep it close. One or both of the Hetty brothers had big games. Jacoby is a 6'6" senior. Quentin is a 6'6" junior. They're both strong athletes, double-digit scores on the season. Jacoby's actually leading the team in scoring overall, but they were good in those 2 games. They limited turnovers in both of these games, which is a thing that they do. But the funny thing about them is there's really nothing about either of the games that just jumps off the page. I think this team just kind of has the ability to rise to the level of their power conference opponents sometimes. It just takes effort, and they're a pretty sound team. A lot of these kind of lower level teams are kind of sloppy. They're not at all. They're really sound. They play a good, clean game. They're coached, Zach, you'll know this name, by Reggie Theus.
Slam ball coach, Reggie Theus. No, Reggie Theus.
No, you're right.
Did he coach or was he on the broadcast?
He was, I think, broadcast. I think he broadcast. But yeah, you may also remember him from his NBA career, obviously. A lot of different broadcasting work.
Slam ball.
What about as an actor on Hang Time in the mid-90s? He was the coach on that. And
yes.
that
I'm more of a Rick Fox. I'm more of a Rick Fox kind of guy when it comes to basketball players who are actors.
Okay. Or Ray Allen.
Yeah. Ray Allen did well. I have a new segment where I tell you something fun about Bethune-Cookman. The former names of Bethune-Cookman from 1904 to 1927, it was called the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute for Girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a name.
From 1872 to 1927, it was the Cookman Institute for Boys.
Okay,
As
so
well.
those were running in parallel
Yes.
because there's some overlap there. Okay, got it.
And then in 1927, I guess when they decided that was weird, they shouldn't do that anymore. It became the Daytona Cookman Collegiate Institute, and that lasted till 1941, and then until 2007, it was Bethune-Cookman College, and then of course it's Bethune-Cookman University.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently their campus is the campus type, according to Wikipedia, is small city. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting way to put it.
It's just that just means it's right in the middle of Daytona.
If I asked you what the name of their mascot is, it's actually pretty damn good. It's simple, but it's amazing, I think.
Beth Cook.
No. It's Will D. Cat.
Will D. Cat. Okay. All right.
Wildcat.
I got you.
That's fantastic.
Kansas State. Good. Kansas State's Willie the Wildcat, right?
I don't know. Why would I know Wildcats. That? Talk about the other Wildcats, and I'm going to come up with some fun facts.
I can't wait. New Hampshire, Saturday the 21st. This is the first ever meeting between the two programs. I looked it up. I was like, I can never remember us actually having played New Hampshire.
Did we play them in hockey?
I can't look
that's their more. I think that's their more prevalent team.
They're not good though, Zach. They're 3-7. They've got 2 wins over lower division teams and an 88-82 win over Boston University. That's by far their best win of the season. They've lost to Dartmouth, Fairfield, Brown, Providence, George Mason, Harvard, and Clemson. They'll play Stonehill on Wednesday and have a shot at that one. But they have 3 guys averaging between 11.3 and 12.3 points a game. Bilal El-Shakiri is a 6'8", 230 Egyptian junior forward who transferred from Wofford. He's their leading rebounder too at 8.2 per game. He's not efficient from anywhere. He's shooting 7.7% from 3, and he shoots 2.5 times a game. I don't know why. He makes McCautry look like a dead-eye shooter. He's about 46% from inside the arc. So you just need to push him out to mid-range and 3, tempt him to shoot those all day. Jack Graham is a 6'3" junior guard who shoots 33% from outside. He transferred from Richmond, just in case the name rings a bell, but you probably don't remember him there because he really did not get in much at all over 2 seasons. And then Keon Robinson is a 6'3" junior guard who transferred from Hofstra. He's 32% from 3. He's more likely to drive, though. He scored 4 points against SLU as a freshman back in December of 2023. This is a bad shooting team, averaging just over 70 points a game. They don't turn it over much. They're a decent rebounding team, but they get into foul trouble. The only way they can win games is to slow better teams down and make it a low-scoring game. There's just literally nothing to scare you here. There's no individual matchup. There's nothing they do tactically. SLU has to force the tempo and just run it up on them, which they should be able to do.
So the University of New Hampshire plays their games at Lundholm Gymnasium, while their ice hockey team plays at a multi-purpose arena.
Okay.
So that's sad. Their mascot is Wild E. Cat and Gnarls.
What? So everybody's just like, we're the Wildcats. We gotta.
I like Will D. Cat though. Will D. Cat is better.
Yeah.
But the University of New Hampshire, the original name from 1866 to 1923 was called the New Hampshire College of Agriculture and the Mechanic Arts.
New Hampshire College, so NHCAMA.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
NHCAMA.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I don't know. Their campus is a small suburb. 11 square kilometers.
I don't know what.
I don't know, but I find it fun. Here, why don't we just look up St. Louis University while we're at it and see what it says? Just for this is where anybody who's
we're at 2.5 hours. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. We are a large city campus. So
Obviously.
yeah. Duh. Did you know we're the Billikens?
That's a fairly recent development.
Yeah. Do you know what it was called from 1818 to 1820? St. Louis Academy in St. Louis, then St. Louis College for just 1 year, and then it was St. Louis University.
Okay, so we've been pretty consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Where the hell are we?
We're gonna take it around the 18th.
Yes, we are. Go ahead. I'm gonna do the back end. Wait, don't clip that. I'm gonna do the weekend because
I'll do Tuesday to Thursday then.
Because I watched a certain game this weekend.
Oh, good. All right, Tuesday the 9th, St. Joe's beat Coppin State 87-65, and McNeese State beat Rhode Island 66-64. Whoops. Wednesday the 10th, Fordham 75, Fairleigh Dickinson 54, St. Bonaventure 85, Colgate 77. The Bonnies actually trailed by 13 at halftime and had to come back to win that one. Delaware
left a bad taste in their mouth.
Yes. Colgate. They're a crest program. Delaware.
Are the Bonnies cresting right now?
Some might say they already have, as you'll see this weekend. Delaware 70s, George Washington 58. GW entered the game averaging 91.4 points a game. Delaware entered the game with 2 wins and losses to some bad teams, including a lower division school. That is a nightmare loss for Georgia.
I was going to watch the game and then I forgot. I was going to rewatch it just to look at it and I forgot. Honestly, I couldn't tell if GW just couldn't shoot to save their lives or not.
I guess so. New Mexico 81, VCU 78. That one was at VCU. Boise State 86, Duquesne 64. Woof, would have wanted to keep that one closer. And then Thursday the 11th, we have Syracuse 71, St. Joe's 63. Zach, go ahead and give us the weekend.
Yeah. Oh God, I jumped. That's not good. Saturday, George Mason 73, Old Dominion 61, number 18 Florida 80, GW 70. The odds for GW were insane. They were plus 800 to win this one. I was they could shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
82-53 Fordham beats Manhattan. Manhattan's got to be awful. Davidson beat Mercyhurst 80-47. Long Island beat LaSalle 70-60. Jesus.
I know.
Ohio beat St. Bonaventure 88-83. That was played in Cleveland. It's closer to Bonaventure than Athens, Ohio. That's crazy to think about.
Because a lot of Bonaventure fans were like, this was essentially a home game. And I'm like, hey, dummies, it's closer to you than it is to Athens is way down
as the crow flies.
No, I mean, driving however you want to get there. It's over 200 miles from Cleveland to Athens. It's under 200 miles from Cleveland to St. Bonaventure. So there you go.
Richmond 93, SIU Carbondale 84 in OT. Dayton 84, North Florida 61. Nevada 78, Duquesne 75. Just an awful week for the A10.
Brutal.
Sunday, the 14th. Holy shit. Chicago State 84, Loyola 75. I said it before the game. I thought for sure Chicago State was going to cover the 13.5.
I can't believe it was 13.5.
Yeah. That's an easy pick.
Yeah.
Chicago State's second win of the season, first over Division I team and first away from home. West Pine Bills, or someone else said it first, but this feels like Ford's final season at SLU, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything coming out of there is just that the vibes are bad. It just feels like a coach who's lost control.
They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat tonight.
You can just feel the negativity. The body language is as bad as I've ever seen. It's crazy.
So that guy who had to run what did he run? 12 miles? Yes. Now he's got to ride the red line or something and while he drinks an 18 pack.
The red line ends at the far north end of Chicago and on the north end, and then the southern like, right, it's a north-south line. So the southern end of it is kind of down by where Chicago State is. So it really does kind of connect where the two campuses are. But he tweeted out yesterday, as we read this, it's today, Loyola has lost to Chicago State. He tweeted out, if Loyola Chicago loses to Chicago State tomorrow, starting at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. is great because the red line is also a 24-hour line. Just the red and blue lines are. But at 1 a.m., I will ride the entire CTA red line down and back repeatedly until I finish an 18-pack of Michelob Ultra.
That's
which I
that's
love.
just not good for you.
It's not good for you. It's not good for the people around you on the CTA either.
No, RIP that guy. Just ahead of time. I'm just gonna get ahead of it. This game was awful, dude. Nobody scored for the first 4 minutes of the game. Not a single basket was made. I believe they went to the under 16 timeout.
Yeah.
They went to the under 6. My St. Angela 7th grade team, I was running better offense than this at point guard, and I sucked.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
It was too small. Too small. Let's roll through women's basketball. Just really, again, we had a lot to talk about. We're going to move field hockey to next week since they're on winter break, and we're going to get a little slowdown with soccer ending, and we'll talk a little field hockey. But let's talk about women's basketball real quick. They played Mizzou on Sunday to an 82-66 loss, Sunday the 14th. Right before tip-off, it was announced that a player would be taking a leave from the program. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so Tillett said Hannah Wallace will not be in attendance at today's game. She has stepped away from the team, and we are in full support of Hannah. I couldn't really tell, Zach, if this was permanent or what it was about. Any inkling?
No, but we did get a DM. I don't know if the person wants to be named, so I'm not going to. They said, am I crazy or is Hannah Wallace's dad still sitting courtside at today's game? I said, my eyes are barely open. I have no idea. But thank you for the information. Okay. The person who DMs us will get that joke. They understand that. I sound like an asshole, but it's not. So I don't know what the hell is going on. I didn't love it's such a weird thing for these teams to make statements like this because you know that the person tweeting this out is not used to having to handle serious issues like this.
Yeah.
So Rebecca Tillett has released the following statement. That's just a weird way to say that.
Right.
Hannah
that's literally the first I saw of it too, right? It wasn't because then Stu tweeted right after that, but I didn't see Stu's first. I saw the official program's statement first.
Yeah, it's just a very weird way to say it, and so it leaves me with a lot of questions.
Yeah, for sure. More questions than answers. Attendance, Zach, was listed at just over 1,500. It looked better on the broadcast than the games usually do. Yeah, so it wasn't a surprise given the opponent. But SLU was down 3 after the first quarter, and then Mizzou built up a big lead in the second and didn't really look back. Unfortunately, if you take out the second quarter, it was a pretty even game. I thought the first quarter was great. I thought they played a very, very good first quarter. I thought they gave the Tigers a little right hook and the Tigers staggered a little bit. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Mizzou was able to settle in from there. Just kind of run us through the rest of the game, man. It's all you. So SLU got it to within 8 in the middle of the fourth, but that's as close as they got after the first half. It was mostly kind of in that 12 to 15 range margin. Jada Dennis was named the A10 Rookie of the Week last week for her performances against Bonaventure and Evansville. She was SLU's leading scorer again in this one, finished with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 5 turnovers in 37 minutes, 4 from 8 4 of 8 from three, by the way. SLU got 15 and 7 out of Alexia Nelson and 13 and 8 out of Zaya Nugent, who each played 36 minutes and eventually fouled. And one of them fouled out. One of them had 4 fouls. Alyssa Kirkenmeyer fouled out with 6 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. I think she's been really underused, honestly, against certain opponents so far, but a matchup against a big, more athletic SEC team is just not favorable to a 6'6" freshman who's adjusting to the college game. But I think the next 2 matchups should be favorable. More on those in a minute. Kira Brown just flat out struggled shooting the ball today. 1 of 13 overall and 0 of 5 from outside. She's been such a pleasant surprise this season, and you had to figure she would run into a game like this sooner or later where the shot just isn't falling. So we got bigger minutes than usual out of Josiah Wallace and Mia Bergstrom, but Bergstrom, like Brown, also struggled to find her shot. 1 of 7 from 3, 2 of 10 overall, but they were both productive rebounding the ball. 8 from Wallace, 6 from Bergstrom. And by the way, this is where Hannah Wallace's minutes went to these two. SLU was 7 of 30 from 3 overall. If you take Dennis out, they were 3 of 22 from 3. That's a problem. You're not going to beat many teams like that, let alone an SEC team. They out-rebounded Mizzou by 9, which kind of surprised me. And I think it's because the offensive rebounding, right? Like they grabbed 20 offensive rebounds. Some of that was pure effort, a lot of hustle. Some of it was because they were putting up so many bricks that were just hard to read coming off the rim. Unfortunately, is when if you're the better team, you're the defensive rebounding team. Sometimes you're going to get unlucky with a team bricking it that much. The fast break points were where you see the real disparity in athleticism here. 26-8 in Mizzou's favor. It also helps Mizzou that they needed 15 fewer attempts to hit the same number of field goals at SLU.
They went on a run of threes there for a while.
They did, and they got to the line more too and converted at a higher rate. So Zach, SLU got blown out by Mizzou last season at Mizzou, but they upset the Tigers at home 2 years ago. I didn't expect them to win this game, but I hoped it would end up closer.
Interesting.
The result of this game combined with that sort of mysterious departure of Hannah Wallace is kind of a 1-2 combo that doesn't have me feeling great after this team just won 3 of 4 games leading up to it, right?
Yeah, I would just add a couple of things to the whole breakdown. And like I thought Kirkenmeyer played fantastic for where she's at right now.
Sure. Yeah. I just think in terms of productivity, it's going to be hard to come by in this game.
Yeah, I thought she actually I kind of disagree, and I thought she matched up really well against the Mizzou team. I thought she looked a lot more comfortable going to the hoop and scoring. Rebounding, she looked better putting it back up. Thought one of the issues with our offensive rebounding was that we brought the ball down too low. Kirkenmeyer certainly doesn't do that. Bergstrom, I got to know what's going on with Bergstrom, man. She seems like she's completely lost all confidence in her game. I just don't get it. She was. I think. Well, first of all, we win this game with the 2 shooters that left. If we want to get weird. Right. I wasn't unhappy with this game at all. I thought I came away pretty positive about the whole thing,
Yeah, I mean, I was to a degree, but I still would have liked them to be within 10 or so, right? Losing by what is it, 16?
It'd be like that sometimes. It's an SEC school. They've got the best player in the SEC for the most part, at least according to was it who was on the broadcast today? Was that Colin, sir?
Yeah, it was Colin. Yeah.
Oh my God. I need to go to bed. Oh my God. That's bad. Sorry, Colin. Next up for the women's team.
Yeah, next up they've got Jacksonville State on Wednesday the 17th. I'll cut this down a little bit. They're a 5-5 team, but 3 of those wins are against lower division teams. They're really a slow, low-scoring, defensive-minded team. They hold opponents to 57 points a game, but again, that does include a little bit more non-D1 action than usual. Good rebounders. They don't turn it over much. But they don't really have a big size advantage. They have 2 players over 6 feet, but they play more reserve minutes. One's a freshman and one's like kind of their 9th or so player. They're a bad 3-point shooting team, but that doesn't keep them from attempting a lot of them, over 27 a game. They really don't have a star either. There's only one player in double digits, and she's just under 11 points a game. The next 8 all average between 9.5 and 5.5, although 2 of them appear to be injured, including their 3rd leading scorer. She hasn't played in the last 4 games. So those 2 players who are hurt also happen to be the only 2 players who shoot above 33% from 3. Again, small sample size, but this is a game where I'd try and get Kirkenmeyer more involved early on, and kind of leverage I think a better matchup here. SLU goes to Ohio on Saturday the 20th. They absolutely crushed the Bobcats last year, 96-52. Ohio's better this season. They're 5-3, but they're only slightly better than Jacksonville State as a shooting team. 38.6% from the field, 29.8 from 3. They play a little bit faster too. They're more aggressive with pressure defensively. They force almost 21 turnovers a game. Then again, they also cough it up 17 times a game. They're a smaller team. Just one starter over 6 feet. She's 6'1". Her backup is also 6'1". They don't generally play at the same time, so you're just going to have one of them to contend with at a time. No one else on the team is over 5'11". They play small too. They don't rebound. They don't block shots. They shoot a ton of 3-pointers, 31 a game. The top 4 average 10 to 12 points each. I wish I could get down to Athens to take in this game, but alas, I'm just too busy next weekend, Zach, so I'm not going to be able to get over there. It's about 3 hours from me. And I love Athens, Ohio. So yeah, I think these are 2 winnable games. I think they're 2 favorable matchups for the Bills.
Field hockey. Laura Herf is your permanent, or I guess, I don't know, now the head coach. She's had the interim tag removed. Pete, talk a little bit about what she did this season with the Billikens, and then let's talk about the kind of remind people how it went down and where things are going.
Yeah. So she was 5-10 this season. She actually started 5-4, lost the last 6.
Does that include Division II? Are we? Because I think even talking just Division I, she still had one of the best records.
I'm including everything that was on the schedule. Yeah. But because even something like Lock Haven, right, which is D2 and other stuff is D1 in field hockey, but whatever. I didn't feel like getting into all that. She started 5-4. Lost the last 6, but 2 of those went to double overtime, 1 to single overtime, and 1 was a 1-goal regulation loss. So those 6 losses were a lot closer than you would actually think of a team on a 6-game losing streak. She only had 15 or 16 scholarship players at any given point this season, and they just ran out of gas. She was hired to be the interim coach, Zach, as you remember, on August 1st, just 2 weeks before the first exhibition game in Iowa, almost 3 full months after Zoe Adkins resigned. Now that the interim tag is off, I think we're confident that she's taking this program up a notch. The only question is what the ceiling of the program is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ceiling is obviously how much the university wants to invest in it. I think we'll see. I mean, I certainly think she's the right person for the job. I thought she did an incredible job with very, very, very little this season. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to see where she can take the squad. And I'm happy with it. I genuinely, I hope that she's being taken care of, and I hope the program's gonna be taken care of. There's just no reason to not, if you're gonna have a sport, we should be trying to be in the top of the A10.
Yeah, completely agree. I think they were, 3 or 4 goals away this season from being a top half of the A10 team and finished last place. So yeah, it shows you what a fine line it is between a season that's undeniably successful and a season that just had some promise and ended up a little bit short.
Pete, that's going to do it. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here, Zach. Yeah, maybe have some shorter episodes coming up here now that soccer's over.
Yep. All right. Roll Bills.